Chapter 1. The Cheating System. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Currently this is the one that I'm most interested in. I'd say there's a good chance this is what I'll be translating. As for how it'll work, I'll most likely just alternate between Shura's Wrath and this. And if anyone's wondering about the "you're welcomes," I just felt I should say something one time to all the thank yous. The middle of the night, completely dark, yet in the boundless mountains it was not quiet. Savage beasts lurk, thunderous roars shake the mountains, forests tremble, tree leaves rustle downwards. Another beast roar. Lin Feng retracted his neck, sweeping off the leaves that fell on his body, looking at the dark group of mountains and sighing in his heart, this place is really a lot different from Earth. Lin Feng sat under a tree spacing out, a few wild-looking teens looked at him with disdainful gazes. A little fat guy shouted towards Lin Feng saying, "We didn't allow an outsider like you to stay here to just eat, hurry up and go do work." Lin Feng recovered, not speaking, standing up and wiping his bottom. He left. Behind him, the little fatty snorted. "Useless trash, physical strength can't even compare to a child's, we should just throw him into the mountains and let him get eaten by wild beasts." Lin Feng twitched his lips. "I'm an earthling that randomly came here, how can I compete with strength against you animals? This heaven primal world, is a world governed by cultivators. This wolf village here, is just a small village in these vast mountains. Naturally there are no cultivators here, but every villager trains hard in martial arts, training their strength, even women and children are no exception. Only like this, can they survive in this world where savage beasts rampage and even the descendants of ancient beasts lurk. Just like right now, even though it is the middle of the night, the young men of the village still have to enter the mountains to hunt. A lot of game habitually come out at night time to roam, even though there are many dangers to entering the mountains at night time, but the gains will all be even greater. The villagers are all used to this kind of life. The children in the village do not sleep, gathering together, competing and playing, waiting for the adults of their homes to return from hunting. Children with snot still running from their noses, casually playing with stone blocks that weigh over 100 jin like toys. A group of teens competing to see who can lift a big 1000 jin cauldron in the village. TL. 1 jin equals 0.5 kilograms equals 1.1 pounds, so the blocks are only 50 kilograms and the cauldron is only 500 kilograms. Lin Feng looked at the group of little animals, silently sighing. He truly appeared like trash competing with strength against them. But this did not make Lin Feng feel depressed, because even though he was occasionally talked about behind his back, he still used his sweet-talking ability to temporarily stay in this little village called Wolf Village. What really made his balls hurt, is that something else had appeared in his head. TL. Dan Teng, balls hurt, is common Chinese slang to express helplessness or speechlessness towards a thing or situation. Guys only, supposedly it's breast sore for females. Super Founder System. At first Lin Feng was incredibly happy, thinking that space travelers have benefits, but the first explanation of the system already made his heart cold. System Main Quest. Host creates a sect, establishing this world's #1 sect, becoming the #1 founder. The main quest is split into different stages, every stage needs to be completed within a set amount of time. If task is not completed when time is reached, directly eliminate host. Lin Feng looked at the system explanation, especially that last line, directly eliminate host, speechless for a long time, finally squeezing out a few words through his teeth. "I bought a watch last year." TL. Scroll to bottom for Chinese meme lesson. Chinese readers can go here. Basically has the meaning of swearing but not using swear words. Will not directly translate if it appears in the future since it has no meaning to English readers. After letting out his anger, Lin Feng helplessly read the details of the quest. He was not prepared to risk challenging the system, seeing if it can really eliminate him. He just came to this world, his butt hadn't even warmed yet, he didn't want to die again. Main Quest 1.0, Taken 4 disciples. Quest details. Even if it's a wandering practitioner, if they want to pass on their legacy, they need to take in a disciple. A sect's most important resource will always be people. Talented successors, famous teachers teach outstanding students. It is hard to find a famous teacher, even harder to find an outstanding student. Quest time limit. 1 year, if not completed before time limit, directly eliminate host. This is bullshit. Lin Feng let out a sigh. Just me, a noob that just traveled over here, tender like a bush of tasty bok choy. I should be the one hurriedly looking for a strong master and hugging his leg, right? Big brother system, at any rate you should give me a secret manual so that I can go take in some students. I've got nothing in my pockets, what do you want me to teach them? Sweet. Talking and bluffing. Even more bullshit is, the system clearly said there is a newbie gift, yet it's telling me that a malfunction has happened to the gift system and that the newbie gift has been delayed, making Lin Feng sigh that there is no such thing as the most bullshit, only more bullshit. Though the unlocked trading system has a bunch of good stuff, panaceas, magic weapons, manuals, techniques. Nothing that isn't there, only what you can't think of. Problem is, all of the items need trading points to trade, and at the moment Lin Feng doesn't have even a single trading point, only able to stare at the system and roll his eyes. Lin Feng was in the middle of swearing at the system when suddenly there was a commotion at the entrance of the village. From the looks of it, the hunting party has returned. The teens waiting at the entrance all happily went to greet them. Lin Feng glanced indifferently, but surprisingly finding that the men returning from hunting were all empty-handed. Not speaking of having no prey, even their weapons were all gone. Towards the villagers, their weapons are their second life. Living in the mountains, it is impossible to survive without weapons. The corners of Lin Feng's lips lifted up into a hard-to-notice smile. Seems like there's a story here. Thinking here, he also walked towards the group of people at the village entrance. Not even walking nearby, he already heard someone yelling angrily. Lang Feng is our wolf village's hope. Now he's been seriously injured by the people of Stone Village, we cannot let this go. Lin Feng lifted his eyes, looking over, seeing a teen in the middle of the crowd lying on the ground with a dejected expression, his entire body covered with wounds, his eyes releasing a cold light of hatred. This is the genius the people of Wolf Village are always talking about. Lin Feng secretly watched him. In regards to this Lang Feng, he had already heard of his name for a long time. The idol of the entire Wolf Village's teens, seen as the hope of the village. Today is Lin Feng's first time seeing him in person. Even though Lang Feng was currently hurt, his expression dejected, but the energy within his body was evident. Even though the strength of his body cannot compare to that of cultivators, but amongst worldly martial artists it was definitely top-notch. Based on the public opinion of Heaven Primal World, being able to achieve such a level at such a young age, if he were to cultivate and train his chi, he would also have a future prospect. In the end, what cultivators do is guide the energy of the world into their bodies, refining their mana and strengthening their own foundations. Lin Feng quietly brought out his Super Founder system. Inside is a disciple talent probe. He faced it towards Lang Feng and pressed confirm. The target's aptitude is too low, cannot become host's disciple. Lin Feng scrunched his forehead, this system is too picky. His initial thoughts were to first randomly take in 4 disciples to get over with the system's 1-year limit, if anything he could just kick them out at the end. But now from the looks of it, wanting to exploit the system's holes isn't so easy. Even Lang Feng, this kind of famous boy genius, didn't have the qualifications. The difficulty for Lin Feng to take in 4 disciples and complete the system's task was a little too big. 1 year's time, 1 year's time. Lin Feng let out a depressed sigh. In the crowd, an old man beside Lang Feng snorted with a purple face. Lang Feng is my grandson, of course we cannot let this go, but not right now. In the past few days there's been a lot of activity in the mountains, from the looks of it there is a mountain treasure about to appear. Get the treasure first, and then we can go settle things with Stone Village. Fights between village clans occurred commonly, towards this Lin Feng had no interest. But the two words, mountain treasure, entering his ears made his heart slightly move. Lin Feng was in the middle of pondering about the mountain treasure when he suddenly heard someone in the crowd cursing quietly. How did Stone Village raise such a little monster, not even 4 years old, still a little child? To think that he can defeat our village's genius Lang Feng, what the hell? Lin Feng's eyes suddenly lit up. A little kid not even 4 years old, beat this Lang Feng in front of him. Lang Feng could already be considered quite talented, the person that injured him hasn't even reached 4 years of age, what kind of talent is that? The little fatty beside Lin Feng quietly cursed. Damn twerp, we have to kill him. Giving him a glance, Lin Feng echoed. Yes, indeed, but instead thinking in his heart, maybe this little guy can gain the system's acknowledgement. Thinking here, Lin Feng silently backed out of the crowd. Right now he wished that he could grow a pair of wings and fly towards Stone Village, but he didn't dare to leave the village by himself, or else he would just be giving an extra meal to the beasts in the mountains. Right at this moment, the stiff, mechanical sound of the system notification abruptly rang in Lin Feng's mind. Novice gift distributed, do you want to examine it? After feeling a bit blank, Lin Feng became thrilled in his heart. He'd never felt that the dull and stiff sound of the system notification was actually so pleasant and nice. Finding a place with no people, Lin Feng opened the novice gift. Novice gift. Host gains basic level of Chi Disciple 4th level, gained 1 lottery chance, gained 300 trading points, gained secret technique manual 9 Heaven's Thunder technique, gained ability Heavenly Thunder Call. Lin Feng blanked, a warm feeling flowing downwards from the top of his head, flowing straight into his chest, swiftly releasing a hidden nerve point in his body. The body hides 12 important nerve points, cultivators call them the 12 floors. Chi Disciple stage training is split into 12 levels so as to clear the 12 floors. With every nerve point released, spiritual energy will be converted into mana, and the cultivator's mana will go up another level. Right now Lin Feng felt a warm current flowing through his body, directly opening up 4 nerve points within his body before disappearing. Following Lin Feng's breathing, the energy of the world was rapidly sucked into his body, circling in the 4 released nerve points. Every nerve point was like a constantly revolving star cluster universe. Spiritual energy was constantly being converted into Lin Feng's own mana, as if it were like when the universe was first created, developing all life in the universe. Lin Feng felt his entire body become lighter. With a thought, the mana in his nerve points was like an erupting spring, explosive strength seething in his body. Only after a long time did Lin Feng start to gradually grow accustomed to the changes in his body. He comforted himself in his heart. Finally have a bit of self-protection ability. But thinking that the system's ultimate goal is to create history's #1 sect and that he has to become history's #1 founder, Ling Chen instantly felt again massive pressure. He hurriedly investigated the other items of the novice gift. Lottery chance. Lin Feng took a look. In the support training system, besides the trading system, there is also a lottery system. But it is a gray color, it is still in an inactivated state. For the moment he doesn't need to think about it. Currently he can only hope that the buying power of those 300 trading points is a bit higher. While thinking about it, Lin Feng entered the trading system. Before he was completely broke, he didn't even have the heart to look at the prices. Carefully looking at the prices, Lin Feng secretly cursed the system as black-hearted. A bottle of the lowest grade Qi nourishing pellet requires 10 trading points, 1 iron sword with a bit of spirituality is 30 points. Even getting a set of the most basic clothing, a set of Taoist clothes, requires 50 points. The most basic spells like Fireball, Palm Thunder, these kinds of common skills require 100 points. As for those high-end items with a string of zeros behind their butts, Lin Feng didn't even dare to look at them. He was afraid of fainting. Lin Feng stared at that pitiful 300 in his current trading points column. He shook his head. Starting capital is too little. Thank God the novice gift also gave a Tao technique manual and a skill, or else Lin Feng would really be at a loss. Tao techniques are the basics of cultivation, their main purpose is to enhance one's level. As for skills, they are practical martial arts or spells with many different effects. A pleasant surprise is that the level of the Nine Heavens Thunder technique is very high. The current trade system doesn't even have it, he has to upgrade the system to be able to trade for it. As for upgrading the system, it requires Lin Feng to complete a certain number of system tasks to be activated. Right now it is too early to talk about it. Nine Heavens Thunder technique is one of the top Thunder Tao techniques of this heaven primal world, although it has been lost for many years. The predecessors who've had success in this Tao technique were all beasts that could do whatever they wanted. TL. If you ever see walking sideways in a translation and it seems out of place, that's because that's a way for the Chinese to say being able to do whatever you want because you have the power. Also, if you see the word cow and it seems misplaced, that's because that's a way for the Chinese to say amazing/beast/stuff along those lines. According to the explanation, the novice gift randomly gifts a type of Tao technique. Being able to get the Nine Heavens Thunder technique, Lin Feng could be considered incredibly lucky. Even though the buying power of 300 trading points is limited, the depressed feeling in Lin Feng's heart right now was completely swept away. With a top-level Tao technique like this, if it weren't for that goddamned main quest, Lin Feng would definitely first find a place with no people and then come out after training to wreck everybody. But since he has to go take in disciples now, then that's another story. Being dissatisfied was one thing. Lin Feng quickly adjusted his mood and swiftly started to take action. After calmly asking for the path towards Stone Village, he quietly left Wolf Village without alerting anybody. Right now the two villages are in a hostile relationship. Lin Feng, who has already become a cultivator, is not afraid of Wolf Village's people troubling him, but he is afraid of them revealing his identity in front of Stone Village's villagers. Thankfully the villagers of Wolf Village are all gathered at the village entrance right now and talking amongst themselves because of the matter of Lang Feng being injured. Lin Feng went around from behind the village, nobody noticed his movement. Walking along the path, Lin Feng did not hesitate at all. Directly investing 50 trading points and buying an outfit for himself. How can Lin Feng, who comes from Earth, not understand the logic of, the tailor makes the man? If you want to sell something, then first you have to do a good job of promoting and packaging. Lowering his head, looking at his Taoist outfit. A white robe with wide sleeves, a sage-like master image, Lin Feng nodded his head in satisfaction. The system's items may be expensive, but there's really nothing to say about their quality and appearance. When Lin Feng arrived at the entrance of Stone Village, the first thing that reflected into his eyes was the broken half of a giant dead tree. The tree's diameter is a whole dozen meters, its entire body is a burnt black. Lin Feng gazed at the tree, speculating that this is a lightning tree. Many years ago it was once struck by lightning, the old tree's massive canopy and an exuberant vitality were all destroyed. Now on the surface there only remains a 8-9 meter tall tree stump. But just looking at the size of the currently remaining tree trunk, one can imagine how massive the tree was when it was alive. The dead tree's entire body is a burnt black, there isn't any hint of life. At this moment, an old person walked over, coughing while saying, "This tree has already withered for 10 years. He walked to the front of Lin Feng, a pair of eyes sizing up Lin Feng. "I am the village chief of this Stone Village, what can I do to help you, priest?" Lin Feng smiled faintly, his body naturally exuding a proud, unworldly aura. Pairing that with his clothing of a white robe with wide sleeves and his Taoist clothing, his appearance was absolutely perfect, definitely the style of a master not of this mundane realm. Discovered target, suitable to become host's disciple. Lin Feng was just about to speak when he heard the sound of the suddenly appearing system notification, almost choking on his spit. The Stone village chief looked at Lin Feng in puzzlement, but he then shivered for a moment from fright. Lin Feng's two eyes were releasing a green light, staring at the village entrance like a starving wolf. TL. His eyes aren't actually releasing a green light, apparently animals hunting at night release a green light from their eyes, so it is used to describe when a person desires something. At the village entrance a cute, beautiful little boy with snow-white skin was in the middle of pulling on the tail of a big yellow dog. His child voice was crisp and resonant. "Hey, hey, don't run." The sound of the system rang non-stop in Lin Feng's head. Talent system finished organizing. Target number 1's data is as follows. Body root, 10, comprehension, 8, will, 8. Blessings, 8. Conclusion. Target's talent in extremely high, recommended to take in as a disciple and carefully guide him, he will definitely become a pillar of the sect. Lin Feng did not see anything else, his eyes staring straight at that blood-red number behind body root, 10. Body root is the congenital talent factor of a cultivator's body. The max points for this talent system is 10. A body root of 10, what does that mean? Here's an example. Other people running from start to finish need to run 100 meters, under the condition of the same finishing point. This little guy's starting point is at 90 meters. No wonder he can beat the crap out of that Lang Feng at not even 4 years of age. At this time the little guy also noticed Lin Feng. He looked over with a confused face, his large eyes blinking, a 100% Mo Shota. Lin Feng smacked his lips. This guy doesn't only just have an op body root, his comprehension, will, blessings are also all super genius level. Taking in this kind of guy as a disciple, isn't the pressure a little big? Lin Feng pondered, his face gradually revealing a warm, sunny smile. If people familiar with Lin Feng in his previous life saw him reveal this kind of smile, they would definitely immediately hide as far away as possible. Usually, when Lin Feng smiles like this, that means that someone is going to get majorly screwed over. And now it has arrived again at Chinese meme lesson time. Today we will be discussing about, I bought a watch last year. In a Chinese thread, one guy got mad and wanted to curse. The abbreviation of his choice of curse words is WQNMLGB, which is what he posted, something like screw your mom or something, I don't know. Swear words all means the same thing, so whatever. Anyways, following a person explained it as, Wa chu nian mai liao gubiao, I bought a watch last year. And thus it became an explosive hit. Chapter 2. Being the old grandpa for people. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Making up his mind, Lin Feng looked towards the old elder beside him, a flawless master demeanor once again appearing. Lin Feng coolly said. Yesterday I was seized by a sudden impulse, suddenly sensing a person whose fate is related to mine in this mountain, thus I came looking, but I did not think that I would meet him in this kind of little mountain village. While speaking, Lin Feng's gaze turned towards the little guy holding onto the dog's tail, who still had a puzzle face, sighing in his heart. Other people are main characters who carry old grandpas around with them, but I have to go be an old grandpa for other people. Although, thinking of a group of OP main characters being his disciples, and that in the future if there's something to do he can let these OP disciple go out and wreck everybody, Lin Feng's mood instantly became a lot better. This guy in front is the first. The old elder was dazed for a moment and also looked towards the little guy. Is the one you speak of him? Lin Feng faintly nodded. I was originally puzzled where this fated person came from, but seeing this child I now understand the story of this matter. He let out a sigh with deep feelings, telling the story that he prepared beforehand. In this story, Lin Feng once had a disciple that he was very proud of, but because he was unable to see through the demon of love in his heart he failed to pass ascension crisis and died, reincarnating. Lin Feng has always been looking for his reincarnated disciple, hoping that he can renew their master-student relation. In the end, after a long 100 years, he finally found him today. The old elder was stupefied by his story, looking towards the little guy in disbelief. This little guy is your disciple reincarnated? Lin Feng lightly nodded his head, his gaze while looking at the little guy revealing a hard to notice but just spot-on feeling of care. You've got to go all the way when putting on a show. Lin Feng did the best that he could, but he was not optimistic in his heart. Because he noticed that underneath the old chief's stunned expression there clearly hid a heavy sense of vigilance. The old dude even had one hand behind his back lightly waving towards the little guy. Lin Feng secretly frowned. He sensed a familiar aura fluctuation from this old guy's body. The fluctuations of a truth cultivator's mana. The old person of this little mountain village is actually a cultivator. Even though he's only Chi disciple level 3, but he is a genuine cultivator. Truth cultivators are different from martial artists. To become a truth cultivator and guide the energy of the world into one's body, turning it into mana, one must train in a Dao technique. Wolf's Village's Lang Feng can be considered to have cultivation talent, but he is still just a martial artist. He cannot be considered a truth cultivator. Before, the old village chief purposely hid his aura so Lin Feng did not notice. Now, because he is wary of Lin Feng, mana fluctuations naturally rose up in his body and Lin Feng immediately noticed it. Lin Feng secretly sighed. Even though this old man may not be a match for him, but he wants to be the master of the little guy, the old grandpa in stories, not a human trafficker. So forcibly snatching him is clearly a no. Lin Feng stared at the little guy, calmly asking. Qing Feng, do you wish to return under my wing? The old elder's expression did not change, but the hand behind his back was practically about to shake off. The little guy scratched his head in confusion, looking at Lin Feng and then staring at the old chief, saying a bit sheepishly. My name isn't Qing Feng, and I don't want to leave the village. Lin Feng was silent and did not speak. For a moment the atmosphere became stiff. The old village elder nervously stared at him. His mana fluctuation became increasingly more obvious, prepared to attack at any time. Okay then, you have yet to unlock your wisdom from previous incarnations and do not remember the matters of your previous life. I will not force you. Right when the old elder was almost about to break down, Lin Feng let out a light sigh, finally opening his mouth saying. But, I have foretold that the fate between you and I has not ended. In the end we will meet again after my departure today. Lin Feng took out a purple talisman from his robe and handed it over to the little guy. I leave this talisman with you for you to protect yourself. If you encounter danger, then throw this talisman towards your enemy and it will protect you well. We will meet again when fate wills it. Finishing speaking, Lin Feng did not drag things on anymore, turning around and leaving. When he walked past the old chief, his gaze casually swept across him, the corners of his lips revealing a faint smile, but he did not say anything, directly leaving. The old elder was drenched in cold sweat. He knew that Lin Feng had already seen through him, yet he was unable to see the depths of Lin Feng's level. This made him afraid, thinking that Lin Feng's level was a lot higher than his, maybe a great cultivator of the foundation establishment level or even the aura's core level. At ordinary times truth cultivators can hide their aura, but with any slight fluctuations it will be discovered by cultivators of the same level or higher levels. This could be a hidden benefit of the system. According to the system explanation, as long as Lin Feng doesn't act, he will be no different from a regular person in the eyes of other people. Even cultivators with a higher level than him are unable to see through him. This is very beneficial for Lin Feng to act like he's a boss. Leaving the sights of the old chief and the little dude, Lin Feng instantly used shadow sneak technique and secretly returned to Stone Village. TL. The actual word is just sneak, but that sounds bad, so I added the word shadow. Even the trading system's cheapest little spells require 100 trading points. After carefully thinking, Lin Feng did not choose an attack or defense spell but instead exchanged for the shadow sneak technique. It can hide his body, and as long as he doesn't do anything else he will not be revealed. In Lin Feng's opinion, if this spell is used properly then its practicality is very strong. The old chief's reaction was a bit strange and it aroused Lin Feng's suspicion. Lin Feng silently snuck into Stone Village. The environment was pretty much the same as Wolf Village, only currently compared to Wolf Village's cloud of gloom, Stone Village was full of joy. The center of the village is filled with all kinds of beast corpses, from the old people to the children. The villagers were all smiling in happiness. Lin Feng found the stone house of the village elder. Just entering the house he saw the little guy holding onto a little porcelain bowl, using a little wooden spoon to drink milk. A child at the courtyard entrance yelled loudly. "Oh wow, you're drinking milk again, little d, you're already 3.5 years old now." "Aya." The little guy was greatly embarrassed. He hugged onto the little bowl using his tender white arms to hide it, not letting the older child see it. His little face was flushed, his long eyelashes lightly trembling, unconfidently arguing. "You guys so wrong, I'm actually drinking water." Haha. A group of big kids laughed loudly. This cute little guy also made Lin Feng let out an amused smile. Not paying attention to those laughing children, he passed straight through the courtyard, arriving at the side of the stone house. His ears twitched and he heard the old elder in the stone house say, 3 years have passed by in the blink of an eye, the little guy is also 3.5 years of age." The sound of an old woman rose up in the house, should be the village elder's wife. "You let the little guy reject that priest, will there be trouble? Do you think if the little guy is actually the reincarnation of the priest's disciple?" The old village chief said, pondering. "I initially thought that Dao Shi was a person of the Shi family helping Shi Tianyi, or someone from the Yu family of Shi Tianyi's maternal grandfather come looking for the little guy to finish him off. But now it doesn't seem like it, as for disciple reincarnated." The old village chief hesitated for a moment. "You also know that the little guy was extraordinary at birth, he was born at foundation establishment level. In addition, he also had the earth-shaking supreme King Dao root of legends. If you want to say that he is a great cultivator reincarnated, that also seems to be plausible." The village chief's spouse said, sighing. "Too bad his supreme King Dao root was actually stolen by Shi Tianyi. They are cousins from the same line, how can he be so cruel? At that time the little guy wasn't even 6 months old, he really is a poor child." The old village chief said seriously. "All in all, I promised his father that I would definitely take good care of the little guy. In the end, that Dao Shi's background is unknown, it's best to be careful. Only you and I, the two of us, know of the little guy's background, we absolutely cannot leak out any information or else the little guy will be in danger." Lin Feng, who was listening outside of the house, beamed with joy. This little guy, 9 out of 10, is a main character level character. As for that Shi Tianyi that robbed his Dao root, he belongs to the rival villain type. No wonder this kid's bone root can reach the max value of 10. Natural born foundation establishment level, moreover it was the most top level supreme King Dao root. If this kind of talent wasn't max value, then nobody could be max value. Although his Dao root has already been taken away, why is his bone root still 10? Could it be, his Dao root can regenerate? Or when after he practices a Dao technique, when he ascends to foundation establishment level, he can still forge a supreme King Dao root? While thinking, Lin Feng quietly retreated out of Stone Village, arriving at the mountain path not far away from the village entrance. Taking out 9 shining purple crystals from his pocket and arranging them on the mountain path according to a certain pattern, Lin Feng let out a sigh. Being an old grandpa for people isn't that easy either. Out of the 300 trading points from the novice gift, Lin Feng used 50 points in exchange for a set of clothing and 100 points for a shadow sneak technique. The remaining 150 points were all invested into these purple crystals. His gaze looking towards the direction of Wolf Village, Lin Feng brushed his nose. If Wolf Village wants to attack Stone Village, this place here should be a must-cross path. Finishing his preparations, Lin Feng started to ponder about his next move. While he was thinking, a massive rumble suddenly exploded from the depths of the mountain, like a clap of thunder exploding on the ground. In the depths of the mountains a beam of purple light shot up into the sky. From a glance one can tell that it is an extraordinary treasure. Thinking of the birth of a mountain treasure the Wolf Village villagers mentioned, Lin Feng was dumbfounded. This is prepared for that little guy, right? A blessing of 8, even though it's not max value it still cannot be looked down upon. His eyes turning, a warm smile like the sun once again appeared on Lin Feng's face. He rapidly rushed towards the place that the mountain treasure appeared. Somebody please give this guy an Oscar award. Chapter 3. Enemy Attack. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A little lesson on the pronunciations of some names, but I won't be teaching the tone of the words. Lin, Lin, Feng, Feng, Shi, Sh, Tian, Tien, think Dragon Ball. But not so much emphasis on the T. How, Xiao, Z.ao, Bu, Bu, Dian, D.n, Zhu, Zhu, Yi, Wang, Lin, Lin, Xiao, Z.ao, Yen. Put these into Google Translate or something if you want to hear how they sound. Interesting fact, Hao Tian is the Chinese sovereign of gods. Lin Feng sprinted furiously in the mountains, using his quickest speed to rush towards the location of the purple light. That is a protruding rock on a cliff. Purple light seeped out from the dark gray rock, rhythmically flashing like the breathing of a human. Every time the purple light flashed it would release a thunderous sound, a deep rumbling sound. Lin Feng scanned the surroundings, not discovering the ambush of other people. Pretty lucky, looks like I'm the first one to get here. Lin Feng rapidly climbed the cliff. One hand like a claw tightly grasping the rock, the other hand not using any spells, just circulating his mana and smashing his fist into the protruding rock. The rock broke away from the cliff, falling to the bottom of the cliff. Lin Feng went down the cliff and found the rock. Even though it broke away from the cliff, the rock still flashed a purple light like it was alive, releasing bursts of thunderous sounds. Lin Feng smashed apart the rock revealing the treasure hidden within. It is a purple crystal the size of a soccer ball, releasing roars of thunder from within. The surface of the purple crystal is uneven, bumpy and rough, an irregular shape. Feeling around for a bit, Lin Feng discovered that this purple crystal is still not the true body of the treasure. It's kind of like a jade stone wrapped in a layer of stone skin. Lin Feng slowly sent his mana into the purple crystal, attempting to connect with the treasure within the crystal. Rumble. Lin Feng felt himself enter into a world of lightning. Looking across it was all flashing bursts of thunder and lightning. A kind of endlessly huge fear and overbearingness. Violent thunderclaps, the ancient punishment of the gods, fierce lightning, the scourge of the foreworld, causing the souls of all of the people facing it to tremble in fear, but still rushing forth on their own and then being completely obliterated. A sort of crushing pressure, a true crushing pressure, being instantly crushed into pieces underneath a mountain. Lin Feng was shocked, the Tao technique 9 Heavens Thunder technique automatically circulating. It was not resisting, not assimilating, but controlling. I am the master of thunder, controlling the lightning of the heavens. As if it was just an instant, but also as if a long time had passed, Lin Feng returned to his senses. Looking at the purple crystal in his hand again, it had already split into two from the middle, revealing a perfectly round light golden orb in the center. The sound of thunder and the light of flashing lightning had all already disappeared. What remained was only the fist-sized orb flashing a light golden glow. It looks very calm, but Lin Feng could sense that within the orb it was harboring incredibly terrifying thunder energy. If all of this thunder energy exploded, it would be more than enough to turn this mountain range that Lin Feng is currently in into a massive crater. In the trading system there is an identical item, its name is the Heaven Thunder Moon Jade and it requires a whole 2,000 trading points. According to the system's description, this item is extremely rare. It requires thousands of lightning bolts to continuously strike the same rock for there to be a 1 in 100 chance of being created. It contains a monstrous amount of thunder energy essence and is a priceless artifact towards truth cultivators who practice thunder-class Tao techniques. Lin Feng smiled to the point that even his eyes had become a slit, very shamelessly thinking. My good disciple, let's just treat this as your gift to becoming my student. Don't worry, Master will treat you well. Faintly hearing voices coming from the jungle at the bottom of the mountain, Lin Feng rapidly put away the Heaven Thunder Moon Jade and looked downwards. He saw that at the two sides of the mountain there were two separate groups of people quickly rushing over. Of the two groups, the vanguard of one of them is Xiao Budian. He looks as white and cute as a little doll, but right now he is as agile like a little beast, rapidly advancing in the deep jungle. Before Xiao Budian never revealed anything, so Lin Feng only now discovered that this not even 4 years old child actually also has a level of Qi Disciple level 2. Lin Feng habitually scratched his nose, feeling that the pressure was as big as a mountain. That old village elder is a madman, right? Teaching such a little child to practice Tao techniques. The other group of people are the people of Wolf Village. Lin Feng calculated the speed of both parties. Confirming that Xiao Budian and the Stone Village villagers will arrive first, he took out the stone shell that remained after taking out the Heaven Thunder Moon Jade, i.e. the purple crystal that cracked into two halves, and left them on the spot. He then quickly left the scene. Even though the Heaven Thunder Moon Jade has already been taken out, but being nourished by the Moon Jade for so long, that purple crystal that has been split into two halves also harbors a massive amount of energy. It is also a hard-to-come-by treasure. The sky was overcast with dark clouds, the sound of thunder echoed. Lin Feng lifted his head looking at the sky, muttering to himself. A storm is brewing. As Lin Feng predicted, Xiao Budian and Co. picked up the stone shell a step earlier. Even though it was a pity that someone had beaten them to the chase towards the true treasure within the stone shell, but at least they did not return empty-handed. The group of people returned to their village in high spirits. On the other hand, the villagers of Wolf Village were bummed. Not only did they not get the meat, they didn't even get any of the juice, coming out empty-handed. Naturally, they don't know that the real treasure, the Heaven Thunder Moon Jade, has fallen into the hands of Lin Feng. They just thought that Stone Village had gotten here first. New hatred and old rancor adding together, the people of Wolf Village immediately exploded, chasing after Xiao Budian and company with red eyes. At this time Lin Feng very coincidentally bumped into the people of Wolf Village. Lang Feng's grandfather Lang Liqing glanced at Lin Feng with a dark face. "What are you doing here?" Lin Feng said with an embarrassed face. "I wanted to enter the mountains to gain some knowledge, but I ended up getting lost." Lang Liqing impatiently waved his hand and didn't pay any more attention to Lin Feng, leading the group of people and continuing to pursue forward. Lin Feng, aware of his status, followed at the back of the group. Hiding his strength, he weakly walked in the mountains, looking like he could straggle from the group at any moment. Those two people. Lin Feng looked like he was distressed, but he was actually closely observing the group the whole time. Very quickly he discovered two middle-aged people within the group that he'd never seen before in Wolf Village. The attire of these two people is also very particular, different from the people in the mountains. The lips of the two people slightly moved, yet they did not release any sounds. After a glance, Lin Feng lowered his eyelids as if nothing was wrong. These two people are actually both truth cultivators. One is Qi Disciple level 3, the other is Qi Disciple level 4 like Lin Feng. They used their mana to encase their voices. Regular people are unable to hear the contents of their conversation, but Lin Feng is able to clearly hear. "Old Chen, when that person last appeared 3 years ago, the child was not by that person's side. Could it be that he was placed in this little mountain village at that time?" The middle-aged man that was called Old Chen pondered, saying. "Calculating from the age, it is just right, but little 7, that kid is already done for, he shouldn't be able to live until this old." Little 7 said. "Right now we're tagging along towards Stone Village to check things out. If we confirm that it really is that child, then we'll cut him down and end things for good. Leaving him around is ultimately a problem for the young master. TL. The young master used here is which, if you had to translate it, would be cousin young master. Cousin as in not part of the main branch family cousin. Only children of the main branch family can be called just young master by the servants/people/workers/ etc. of the family. I think at least. Old Chen thought for a bit and then nodded his head. We can't directly do it ourselves, or else if we leave a trace, there are sure family people that pity that child, they might trouble us. Even though the family would love for that little baby to die, they will not necessarily support us, instead handing us over as scapegoats. Little Seven glanced at Lang Liqing with an insidious laugh. There's nothing to worry about, isn't in front the best scapegoat? Finishing speaking, the two people both started laughing. Being able to take the blame for the Yu family, it can be considered their good fortune. Lin Feng secretly sighed. The Stone village elder kept his oath and worked hard to hide Xiao Budian's information, but he didn't know that Xiao Budian's whereabout has already been pretty much exposed. Although, these two people really came at just the perfect time. Staring at the backs of the two people, the smile on Lin Feng's face became increasingly brilliant. There is also a science to picking supporting roles. Before, Lin Feng was still worried that the opponent's strength was too weak. Stone Village has the old elder and Xiao Budian, these two truth cultivators. With just these mundane martial artists of Wolf Village, going would just be giving experience points to Xiao Budian. Of course, the opponent's strength being too high is an even bigger no-no. Firstly, it's hard to guarantee Xiao Budian's well-being. Secondly, Lin Feng is also just a level of Qi disciple level 4, if he made an opponent that he also can't deal with, then that would become a joke. Like these two Yu family truth cultivators, they are just perfect. On his side, he was spacing out in his thoughts. The little fatty beside him huffed in anger. Keep your eyes open when we get there, don't cause trouble for us or I'll gut you. Lin Feng grinned, not saying anything. Right now he was quietly waiting for the show to start. Wolf Village's people quickly caught up to Xiao Budian and company, and both sides engaged in a fierce battle. Wolf Village has a large number of people, and mountain people are all very fierce, but they couldn't stand up to the old elder and Xiao Budian, these two truth cultivators. Especially Xiao Budian, even though he is not experienced enough and is not brutal enough when attacking, but his strength is more than enough to crush these mundane martial artists. Like the little cub of an ancient beast, utterly wrecking the people of Wolf Village. Before the two sides had even crossed blows, Lin Feng had already turned around and run out of sight like a frightened rabbit, causing the little fatty to curse in anger. Pussy cat. Lin Feng laughed in his heart. Of course he had to run away early, or else if he lets Xiao Budian and them see him together with Wolf Village's people, would that be proper? Finding a hidden place, Lin Feng's gaze tightly locked onto those two Yu family cultivators. He saw that middle-aged man called Old Chen unhurriedly take out a bone flute and start playing it. The flute's sound was not at all pleasant, hoarse and shrill, like utterly dreary cries and screams. The next moment a large number of beasts sprang out from the forest. Iron male elephants like the size of small mountains, black unicorn tigers with a horn on their heads, blaze bears with a body of fiery red fur. Every single beast was 10 of hundreds of times more aggressive than regular wild beasts. Requiring the bravest, most seasoned hunters to form groups and set up traps to dare to go hunt them. Even like this they could still pay the price of their lives, and even fail the hunt. And right now there are dozens of such savage beasts, surrounding Xiao Budian and them from all directions, rushing over like a tidal wave. Against the beast tide, even the old elder and Xiao Budian have no ways of dealing with it. Only able to do their best to protect the villagers and retreat. Even like this there are still multiple people that were pounced down by the beasts and killed. Dark clouds covered the sky and wild wind howled. On the ground the cries of battle shook the heavens and blood flowed like rivers. The situation turned for the worse in an instant. Even Lin Feng was a bit taken by surprise. Only able to follow them from far away and pray in his heart. Run fast, here is not enough. Go forward a bit more, draw them forward a bit more. Stone Village villagers were constantly being killed by the savage beasts. Xiao Budian watched red-eyed in anxiety, he could only ensure himself not being hurt by the beasts. Even if he can save a fellow villager, there will also instantly be even more people falling into danger. The old elder stomped his feet, throwing a leather-like item towards Xiao Budian. The old man himself also pulled out a little drum. Magic items. Moreover, it's two. Lin Feng's eyes slightly brightened. With the two magic items left behind by Xiao Budian's father, the old elder and Xiao Budian finally brought the villagers and fought their way out, escaping towards Stone Village. Seeing their target about to flee, the two Yu family cultivators looked at each other and in the end still couldn't hold back striking out. Right now they were only not even a mile away from Stone Village. But just these couple hundred meters became a chasm that Xiao Budian and company are unable to cross over. The moment those two truth cultivators struck out, the old elder immediately discovered something wrong. "Who are you people?" The middle-aged person called Old Chen coldly said. "Dead people don't need to know." The old elder said in fury. "Are you guys sent by the Shi family or the Yu family? Actually being so venomous as to plot against a little child, and now you guys won't even let him live?" That cultivator called Little Seven loudly laughed. "It is the young master of our house that is a natural-born sovereign. This little twerp, being able to contribute towards our young master is his good fortune. Right now I will send him to reincarnate. I believe that he'll be able to get a nice life." Xiao Budian felt confused towards their conversation, but this did not hinder his judgment. "Aya, you guys aren't good people." Finishing speaking, he fought against Lit 7. He has a magic item, fighting Chi Disciple level 3. Little 7 with his Chi Disciple level 2, he is not at a disadvantage. But he is unable to hold up against Little 7's insidious mind. While fighting against Xiao Budian, he occasionally ambushes the villagers of Stone Village. The numerous beasts at the side and Wolf Village's villagers also surrounded them and attacked. The people of Stone Village were in a critical situation. Xiao Budian wanted to save people, but he was entangled by Little 7, causing his face to turn completely red from anxiety, almost about to cry out. Lin Feng hid at one side, saying in his heart, "Now's the time. Good disciple, hurry up and use the trump card that I gave you. You silly boy, don't tell me that you've forgotten about it." Not sure if it's because he sensed Lin Feng's reminder, Xiao Budian, who was at the end of his wits, finally remembered the talisman that Lin Feng left for him, taking out the talisman and smashing it over to Little 7 right in his face. Little 7 was slightly shocked. Afterwards he discovered that there seemed to be nothing special about the talisman. Casually pinching the talisman with a grab, he said mockingly, "In the end he's a little brat." Before he could finish speaking, a change suddenly occurred to the talisman in his hand. Around him 9 points of light simultaneously lit up, lighting up his dumbfounded face. Chapter 4. There's something wrong with that old tree. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Say, does anyone here play Clicker Heroes? How many times did you ascend before you could buy Dread Knight? I've already ascended about 15 times and I'm still not close. Xiao Budian took out that talisman Lin Feng gave him, directly smashing it towards Little 7. Lin Feng, who was hiding at the side, silently laughed. Excellent. He formed a spell sign with his hands, silently incanting in his heart. Move. Under the control of his mind, the mana that he left in the talisman started to rapidly circulate. The 9 thunder energy crystals that he hid here earlier were also activated at this moment, releasing powerful energy waves. Sizzle, crackle. The air filled with the sound of jarring electrical currents, arcs of bluish-violet lightning constantly jumped around. Before Little 7 could react, the 9 thunder energy crystals simultaneously shot out 9 beams of lightning. And the talisman in his hand was like a conductor, drawing the 9 arcs of lightning to shoot over towards him, instantly destroying his mana protection barrier. Ah! Accompanied by screaming, 9 lightning snakes wrapped around Little 7's body and wildly raged in his body. Old Chen was aghast, promptly ditching the old elder and rushing over. His palms fiercely separating and then coming together, wildly surging mana pouring into Little Seven's body attempting to dispel the lightning. Towards Old Chen's action Lin Feng treated it like nothing, lifting his head looking towards the overcast sky with rolling thunder. Today is good weather. He shrugged his shoulders. You think my 9 heavens thunder summoning is that simple? Lin Feng changed the spell sign of his hands. Attract. Following the change of Lin Feng's spell sign, the lightning wrapped around Little Seven's body suddenly started to jump uniformly, filled with a strange tempo and rhythm. The next moment, a terrifying lightning bolt the thickness of a bucket descended from the clouds in the sky. Its target was exactly Old Chen and Little Seven on the ground who were surrounded by lightning. This is the true mortal blow of Lin Feng's 9 heaven thunder summoning ability. Seeing that the situation was unfavorable, Old Chen did not dare to bother with his partner anymore, hurriedly dodging towards the side. No. Little Seven looked in despair as the lightning bolt like doomsday divine punishment struck him straight on in the head. He didn't even have the chance to officially reveal his identity. Xiao Budian and the old elder stared in shock at that lightning bolt that lit up the sky ripping through the air. They never could have imagined that the talisman that Lin Feng seemingly casually gave Xiao Bude actually held such power. The villagers of Wolf Villager and Stone Village were especially dumbfounded, thinking it was the epiphany of the Thunder God. Everything was just in the blink of an eye. The lightning fell to the ground with a crash. The violent flash blinded the eyes of all of the people, causing them to see a white blur. When after they recovered their sight, they hastily looked towards Little Seven's position. On the spot there was only a section of char. A truth cultivator was completely obliterated by a bolt of lightning. After a moment everyone finally returned to their senses. Wolf Village's villagers immediately exploded, running away in all directions without even turning their heads. Not a single person dared to remain on the spot to trouble Xiao Budian and company. The savage beasts drawn over by Old Chen's bone flute were also scared shitless, all of them tucking their tails between their legs and running away. The people of Stone Village all let out bursts of cheers. The old elder reacted, heavily stomping his feet. Kill, don't let a single one of the Wolf Village people here today live. The morale of Stone Village's villagers ran high, chasing after them together. Old Chen was dazed for a moment and then roared hoarsely. We are you family's people. You hillbillies dare to kill our you family's people, are you guys not afraid of your entire village being razed to the ground? The novice gift once again brought a pleasant surprise towards Lin Feng. He stared at the lightning-struck charred ground, silent for a while and then letting out a long sigh of relief after a long time. Fortunately, even though there are too many limitations to using it and it is too troublesome, the power in the end is not disappointing. Lin Feng brushed his nose. With this 9 heavens thunder summoning as the groundwork, when he makes his appearance again, convincing the old elder and Xiao Budian will be a lot easier. After all, in their eyes, I created such a large commotion using just a tiny little talisman alone. If you were to have Lin Feng himself fight head-on with Old Chen and Little Seven, he would also be able to win. After all, the 9 heavens thunder technique he practices is far superior to the ragtag Dao techniques those two people practice. But he would definitely not be able to create such an amazing result. With that, his master sage disguise would be seen through. How could he be like right now? One hit insta-kill, easy and relaxing, waving his sleeves and not bringing away a wisp of cloud. Towards Old Chen, who still remained, Lin Feng did not pay him any heed. This person may have avoided the heart of the lightning strike, but he is already heavily injured after being hit by the waves of the attack. The old elder and Xiao Budian are enough to take care of him. Right now Lin Feng prepared to silently slip into the elder's house yard and leisurely sit there waiting for the old elder and Xiao Budian to return. It would especially be able to display his ability to predict future events and poised character and demeanor. At that time would he still need to be afraid of that little guy not lowering his head and bowing? Oh right, when the mountain treasure appeared he changed out of his Taoist robes for convenience of traveling in the forest. Right now he is wearing a set of rough cloth clothes and looks the same as a regular mountain villager. he needs to remember to first change back. My first disciple is at hand. Lin Feng thought, elated, turning around and walking towards the village entrance. When he lifted his head, the smile on his face instantly froze, slowly disappearing. Because he clearly saw that on that old withered charred tree at the village entrance that should originally be completely dead, actually grew out a new branch. The few pink peach blossoms on that young branch were bright and fresh, swaying and flickering. Lin Feng swore, when he just came to Stone Village half a day ago, this old tree definitely did not have this branch of bright peach blossoms. What made the hearts of people beat even faster was that these peach blossoms looked incredibly beautiful, but they faintly revealed a demonic aura. So much food after just waking up. Lin Feng's mind slightly blanked. He seemed to hear the low, hoarse voice of a woman slowly speaking in his mind. Her tone was joyful and beautiful, yet it made people shudder in fear. Shivering, Lin Feng returned to his senses. Looking around, he saw old Chen's expression also drastically change, looking around in a panic. And everyone else seemed to be completely oblivious, still continuing to fight. Lin Feng turned his head in shock, seeing the petals of those vibrant peach blossoms on that new branch actually floating down, flying over to the battlefield 1 mile away. Light, delicate flower petals, they look soft and weak, but their flying speed is fast as lightning. Hundreds of flower petals like meteors from outside of the heavens flying into the crowd, swaying in a profound orbit. Old Chen wanted to escape, but how could he be faster than these strange peach blossoms? He set his heart, slamming his palm over. The flower petal that looked weak and unendurable directly pierced through old Chen's palm, going and sticking to his forehead. Lin Feng widened his eyes, seeing old Chen's face reveal a horror-stricken expression, opening his mouth wide wanting to yell but unable to emit any noises. Old Chen's blood, body and skin all rapidly shriveled up at a visible speed. In the end he directly turned into a mummy. The peach blossom petal on the mummy's forehead became increasingly vibrant and beautiful. Lin Feng's heart directly sank to the bottom. His gaze wandered, looking around. All of the people or beasts that these flower petals attached to were all sucked dry within a short period of time. Lan Liqing, who clamored about killing Xiao Budian, the little fatty who didn't mix well with Lin Feng. People that he had still talked to before, right now their eyes have all lost the light of life, making Lin Feng have goosebumps all over his body looking. The next moment, the flower petals all detached from their prey that they had already sucked dry, drawing traces of pink arcs in the night sky, flying back to the old tree. The peach blossoms landed back on the tree branch, beautiful and dazzling, breath-taking horror. Lin Feng stared at the old tree. Sure enough, on the charred trunk 2 more new branches grew out again. The peach blossoms on the 3 new branches gently sway in the night air, looking so delicate and attractive. The flower fragrance floated over with the wind, making people feel refreshed. Yet Lin Feng cursed in his heart. Fuck, there's definitely something goddamn wrong with this tree. He carefully observed for a moment, discovering that besides old Chen, the people that were sucked dry were all Wolf Village's villagers. None of the savage beasts were spared either, although Stone Village's villagers were not attacked. The old elder and the people of Stone Village all blankly stared at the scene in front. Suddenly there was a villager who knelt on the ground, prostrating to the old tree at the village entrance and muttering, "Praise the Peach Celestial! Praise the Peach Celestial!" More and more people thought that the old tree at the entrance of the village was the theophany of the Peach Celestial, helping them kill their enemies, and so they all knelt on their knees and worshipped. Xiao Budian looked in confusion at everybody, scratching his head with a puzzled face. The old elder looked at the old tree with a complicated expression, biting his lips. Lin Feng, who did not show his face the entire time, was expressionless, his heart feeling cold. Beside his ears he seemed to hear the long echo of a low, hoarse female voice. "I'll stop here for today and let the rest go for now. This old tree doesn't differentiate between friend or foe at all people in her eyes are the same, they are all food. The difference is only that she is guarding at Stone Village's entrance and she is simply not afraid of Stone Village's people running away. Maybe also adding a slight biological instinct of rabbits don't eat the grass by their burrows. TL. Apparently this saying means something like not putting one's hand on the people around you or not doing bad things on your own turf. Lin Feng thought, trying to cheer himself up, his mood completely unable to relax. Looking at the situation of the old tree that just struck out, casually killing over 100 targets in an instant, of them even includes Old Chen, this kind of truth cultivator. Even if Old Chen was hurt, her attacks were still too relaxing. Just one petal out of hundreds of flower petals already insta-killed Old Chen. For her, Chi Disciple Level 4 truth cultivators are no different at all from the mundane martial artists. Lin Feng has never hesitated before to plan for the worst. According to his speculation, this old tree demon's strength has probably already surpassed the Chi Disciple stage. It's at the very least foundation establishment. Lin Feng brushed his nose. Finally found a suitable disciple candidate, but it is beset with difficulties. A person chosen by the heavens, a main character level character, do they all have so many problems surrounding them? While thinking, the system notification sound suddenly rose up in his mind. System has operated for 1 full month, lottery system officially opened. Chapter 5. The first lottery chance. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yahalo my homies. That's right, going back to my roots. Bet you never expected to see those words in a sentence. I got this done, so I figured I'd just post it now. The cleaning is complete and the house is now as clean as it'll ever be until we decide to go all in on cleaning the house. System has operated for 1 full month, lottery system officially opened. Hearing the system notification sound, Lin Feng first blanked for a moment and then had an impulse to cover his face in tears. He'd already almost forgotten that there was still a lottery system and that the novice gift had even given a lottery chance. Lin Feng looked back, glancing at the old peach tree at the village entrance. Stone Village's villagers had already gradually started to return to the village. Looking at Xiao Budian amongst the crowd, Lin Feng silently prayed. Good disciple, since you're a main character level character, you shouldn't die that easily, right? Hold on for a bit, Master will come back quickly to save you. First distancing himself from the old peach tree, Lin Feng then eagerly checked out the lottery system. Entering the lottery system, 3 images appeared in Lin Feng's mind. A die, a wheel, and one more which is misty and cannot be clearly seen, like a cloud of fog. Lin Feng tried a bit, that cloud of misty fog cannot be chosen. Maybe it's that the system still hasn't opened it yet. As for the wheel and the die, they are 2 different lottery methods. The spinning wheel is like the slot machines or the turntable used in gambling in Lin Feng's previous life. A circle of completely different images, representing different items. If Lin Feng spins that wheel, then whatever it lands on is what he gets. Lin Feng took a look. The wheel has a total of 18 slots, of them 16 have items and 2 are empty. 16 items, 3 types of Dao technique manuals, 3 types of elixirs and panaceas, 3 pieces of magic items, 3 sheets of talismans, 3 types of abilities, and 1 that is a mysterious box with a question mark. The level of the 3 types of Dao techniques on the wheel are all inferior to the 9 Heavens Thunder technique. They have no appeal to Lin Feng. The medicines are also just some regular stuff, at the least they can't make Lin Feng's level soar, reaching the point that he can fight foundation establishment level opponents. Magic items, talismans, abilities. Lin Feng looked around, there was also nothing that could help him take care of that old peach tree. Lin Feng left the wheel lottery system, and then went into the dice lottery system. 3 dice quietly lay on top of a light disc. The edges of the light disc are also surrounded by a circle of images. Different from the wheel is that each image has been labeled with a number, from 1 to 18. There are a total of 16 images, the numbers 12 and 14 are empty. Lin Feng already understood that this wants him to roll dice. The number obtained after adding up the numbers of the 3 thrown out dice will decide what he gains. If added up it is a 12 or a 14, then he could only return empty-handed. Same with the wheel system, the dice system also has 16 items. They are also Dao techniques, medicines, magic items, talismans, and abilities, 3 of each, in addition to a mysterious chest with a question mark. The 16 items waiting to be chosen should be randomly chosen every lottery chance. The wheel system and the dice system are relatively independent. Lin Feng stared at the items of the dice system looking down. When he saw the magic item corresponding to number 13, the Dark Thunder Sky-Piercing Awl, his eyes instantly lit up. This Dark Thunder Sky-Piercing Awl is actually a Foundation Establishment level magic item. In the Heaven Primal Great World, only great primordial spirit cultivators can create magic treasures. Items created by cultivators below primordial spirit are all magic items. Based on the creator's level, they are split as nascent soul level magic items, Aurus core level magic items, Foundation Establishment level magic items and Chi Disciple level magic items. The 3 magic items from the wheel system and the other 2 from the dice system are all Chi Disciple level magic items. For Lin Feng Hao is currently only Chi Disciple level 4, they are of course also suitable for him. But wanting to rely on them to go and face the Foundation Establishment level Old Peach Tree is completely nonsense. As for the Dark Thunder Sky-Piercing Awl, this Foundation Establishment level magic item, it is a different story. For Chi Disciple level cultivators it is already a nearly god-like existence. Letting Lin Feng also have the strength to fight against the Old Peach Tree. The chest with a question mark should be a special prize, giving an unknown item, but it could also be very bullshit. Lin Feng took a deep breath, muttering in his heart. Dark Thunder Sky-Piercing Awl, Dark Thunder Sky-Piercing Awl. 13, 13. Focusing for a long time, Lin Feng confirmed starting the lottery. Go. 3 dice spun together on the light disc. Very soon one of the dice stopped, a big 6. Lin Feng nervously stared at the remaining 2 dice, secretly cursing the system as wicked in his heart. The 3 dice actually don't stop together, purposely hanging one's appetite. The second dice also stopped very soon. Lin Feng slightly relaxed in his heart, and then tightened again. The first 2 dice were 6 plus 5, 11 points. This means that Lin Feng does have a chance to get the 13-point Dark Thunder Sky-Piercing Awl. But likewise, he could also get the empty spaces at 12 and 14. 2, 2. 2. Lin Feng felt like his entire self became silly, holding his breath and not even daring to take a big breath, closely staring at the last die. TL. 2, is also a way of saying stupid, silly, foolish, etc. I don't know if this is internet slang or not. While his mind was highly focused, Lin Feng felt even the movement of the die become slow. The force of the strength of the die became increasingly smaller, gradually showing traces of stopping. Lin Feng was entirely red from holding his breath, seeing the die land on the light disc. The side facing up was terribly at 6. No, move a bit again. Lin Feng anxiously cried in his heart. 6 plus 5 plus 6, 17. What it corresponds to is a bottle of the most regular energy gathering pellet. For Lin Feng at the moment it doesn't do shit. Seemingly hearing Lin Feng's thoughts, the die really jumped again. 2, this time the side facing upwards is exactly the 2 that Lin Feng wished for. Lin Feng's face just revealed a smile, and then it abruptly froze. Under his gaze the die still did not completely settle, lightly rolling a bit and revealing a bright red dot. 6 plus 5. Plus 1, 12. Fuck. 12, there's nothing. Right when Lin Feng's mood fell to the bottom from the clouds, the die shook, flipping to the side one last time. The number turning from a 1 into a 4. This time it was completely settled, the number of the third die is 4. Lin Feng blinked his eyes, looking towards the item corresponding to 15. A mysterious chest with a question mark quietly lay there. Lin Feng opened the mysterious chest a bit hesitantly. A light golden sword with the scabbard appeared in his vision. Even though the sword has yet to be pulled out of the scabbard, Lin Feng could clearly feel the terrifying power within. The Northern Aurora Sword, a Foundation Establishment level magic item. A pair with another Foundation Establishment magic item, the Southern Aurora Sword. When the two swords combine, one can gain an Aurus Core level magic item, the Polar Magnetic Dao Sword. Lin Feng stared at the Northern Aurora Sword and let out a long breath. After a long time, his entire body actually had a feeling of exhaustion. Both being Foundation Establishment magic items, the Northern Aurora Sword's power is a level higher than the Dark Thunder Sky-piercing Alls. Getting out of the system, Lin Feng's consciousness had already returned to his body. Staring at the long sword in his hand emitting a faint lightning glow and magnetic force, Lin Feng grinned and laughed. Pulling the sword out of the scabbard, a bright lightning flash appeared with a casual point, blowing up a far-away rock. The first lottery chance, my luck's not bad. Lin Feng put away the Northern Aurora Sword, the wild joy in his heart gradually calming down. His mind once again calmly thinking. Even though I've gained a Foundation Establishment level magic item, my own level is still just Chi Disciple level 4, I actually can't completely exert all of the magic item's strength. Lin Feng started to calculate the current cards in his hands. 9 Heaven's Thunder Summoning has impressive power, but its usage conditions are too stringent. It's suitable for ambushing and not head-on fighting, moreover using it once requires the consumption of 10 Thunder Crystals. Lin Feng currently also doesn't have any extra points to exchange for crystals. The Northern Aurora Sword is powerful, but Lin Feng's current level is unable to exert all of its power. The old peach tree could very likely be a solid Foundation Establishment level. Relying on the magic item of which he can only exert a portion of its strength, Lin Feng can only be said to have the strength to fight it. If they really fought, he probably still wouldn't be the old peach tree's opponent. Unfortunately, his time is limited, nobody knows when the old peach tree will strike out again. She is guarding right at Stone Village's entrance and is too big of a threat towards Xiao Budian and co. But unluckily, besides Lin Feng, nobody else has realized her danger. The majority of people even treat the old peach tree as the village's protector. If Lin Feng runs over to warn them, he will instead be seen hostilely. Those 2 family truth cultivators were wandering around in these deep mountains looking for Xiao Budian's location. They should also have companions and superiors. Maybe there's a Foundation Establishment expert amongst them. Lin Feng pondered in his heart. If I can draw over you family's experts and have both sides get hurt in a fight with the old peach tree, then there will be a turning point for the situation. But who knows when I'll be able to find them, the time might not be enough. Lin Feng was in the middle of thinking when he sensed something. A powerful mana fluctuation traveled over from far away, somebody was approaching this side at a very rapid speed. Voices of people talking faintly traveled into his ears. Shimmy, you should have decided long ago to go to that Xiao family to break the engagement. TL. Shimmy, the name for a female student of younger seniority in an apprenticeship/school/sect/ etc. Doesn't have to be same master or even the same school. There's also Shi, which means master, but in this case it means school, and then family member name based on seniority. So Shimmy is like younger school sister. I mean, if you guys want I can put it like that, but I'd much rather not. I guess I could also just say, junior/senior, but it loses a bit of the meaning/ doesn't sound right. Now isn't too late either. Just finishing speaking, 3 white-clothed people carrying a sword on their backs had already appeared in front of Lin Feng. Of the 3 people there is an old person. The old person is wreathed in smiles and brimming with energy and vitality. A pair of slightly small eyes, but a sharp light occasionally flashed across his eyes. Yet, it is exactly this kind of old person that looks ordinary and plain, whose entire body is releasing a powerful mana fluctuation as deep as the sea. The characteristical mana fluctuation of Foundation Establishment level Truth Cultivators. In regards to the first true Foundation Establishment cultivator that he's seen after coming to this world, Lin Feng did not have the time to pay attention to him. Right now his entire attention is all focused on that girl by the old person's side. Lin Feng's face revealed a warm smile like the sunlight, numerous thoughts flashing across in his heart. Breaking off an engagement. If I didn't hear wrong, the topic they were just talking about is the legendary marriage annulment. TL. He's saying how in a lot of Chinese novels, something bad, such as breaking off an engagement, which I guess is common enough, happens to the MC at the beginning, which causes the MC to want to get stronger and eventually end up ruling the universe. Chapter 6. You're going to get screwed. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Celeritas is apparently the Latin word for speed and is what the c for the constant of the speed of light stands for. The name of the sword sect here translates to something like flowing light or the quick passage of time, so yeah. Oh, and you guys have probably already noticed that the grammar here is considerably worse. Yeah, I have difficulties translating this, but I'm working things out. The young girl's facial features are very outstanding and incredibly elegant, her entire body exudes a refined, cold and beautiful extraordinary aura. On her tender ears there hangs green-colored jade pendants, while they shook they released a crisp jade ring, unexpectedly displaying a hint of delicacy. From appearances Lin Feng looked like a simple young boy being taken away by the young girl's beauty, slightly lowering his head in shame. Actually he just doesn't want people to see that his two eyes are both glowing. Marriage annulment. This is the legendary marriage annulment that created countless overpowered people. Beside the girl is a teenager with the same white-robed clothing as her. He has a tall body and his face is handsome. The mana fluctuations circling around his body show that he possesses Chi Disciple level 10 strength. The white-robed teen swept Lin Feng with his gaze and then did not look at him anymore, turning his eyes towards the rock that had been destroyed by Lin Feng using the Northern Aurora sword and wrinkling his forehead. We already rushed over as soon as possible. Logically speaking, the person shouldn't have been able to leave on time. The girl shook her head. If the person's gone, then that's that. The white-robed youth suddenly used his mana to wrap his voice, speaking to the girl. Yenran. Shimmy, they say that Xiao Yan is also a cultivating genius, only afterwards for some unknown reason he fell over becoming a piece of trash now. Murong Yenran was a bit unhappy, her eyebrows slightly wrinkling. There's an outsider here, let's stop talking about this. TL. Rong, ROE.ng, yeah, I don't know what to put for that. Yen, ran. Click for Google Translate and press the speaker button for pronunciation. The white-robed youth lightly smiled. It's just a country boy, I'm using mana sound transmission, how could he possibly hear? Lin Feng stood on the spot unmoving, blinking his eyes. He didn't have the time to change into those Taoist clothes and is still wearing a body of rough cloth clothes. He does indeed look like a mountain villager. Hearing his words, Murong Yenran shook her head. Regardless if he is a genius or a loser, I still have to go break off this engagement. Even grandfather cannot force me to marry a person that I've never seen before. Lin Feng's expression became increasingly simple and honest, but his heart was already bursting with joy. Awesome job, woman. Just like this, not being moved by the outside world, steadfastly go and break off the marriage. I've got high hopes for you. Once a genius, now a loser, also a fiancé coming over to break off the marriage and humiliate him. Holy crap, this is definitely Xuanhuan main character level treatment. Right now Lin Feng wanted to go look for that Xiao Yan right away. He's finally understood, the system's demands for disciples is absurdly high, probably only those legendary people blessed by the world, story protagonist level characters can enter its eyes. Even though right now he is unable to prove it, but deducing from Xiao Budian, Lin Feng is 80% confident that Xiao Yan should match the system's standards for approving disciples. Wait a sec, this kind of main character level OP little monster. Lin Feng suddenly thought, following Murong Yenran going over to break off the engagement, that Xiao Yan, who is seemingly incredibly unlucky right now, he should most likely explode his inner cosmos after the marriage annulment. Even though Lin Feng doesn't know whether he is carrying an old grandpa around with him, or picked up a super god item outside, or maybe found a godly manual from the crappy books in his parents' belongings. Anyhow, as soon as Murong Yenran arrives and breaks off the engagement and Xiao Yan ignites his fighting spirit, it should then be time for him to turn things around. Fish of the pond, the golden carp they are not, dragons they do become when encounter they do a storm. Only requiring a tiny little opportunity to help Xiao Yan get on the right track, using an old saying is having the wheels of fate start turning, and that kid will immediately become an unstoppable beast. Lin Feng didn't plan to change the final result of Xiao Yan becoming a beast, he just wants to change the process of him become a beast, making himself become that storm that spurs Xiao Yan to change from a golden carp to a dragon. In other words, going to be the old grandpa for Xiao Yan. But at the moment Xiao Budian's matter still hasn't been solved, Lin Feng can't leave. If I allow Murong Yenran to go break off the marriage right now and in the end let Xiao Yan call out a different old grandpa, then won't it be none of my business anymore? To Noel Duren this marriage has to be cancelled, but it definitely can't be now. Thinking here, a thought appeared in his mind, a warm smile like the sun naturally appeared on his face. The white-robed youth smiled saying, "If we can't find the source of the mana fluctuation just now then forget it. We should rush over to the Xiao family in Wuzhou City as fast as possible, it's still a long journey from here to Wuzhou City." The white-robed old man that hadn't spoken the entire time opened his mouth at this time saying, "Yenran, your talent is outstanding and your future cannot be measured. You are a core disciple of the Celeritas sword sect, you cannot waste time on a mundane human. But going over and breaking off a marriage is after all a disrespectful affair, remember to give that Xiao Yan some compensation." Murong Yenran and the white-robed youth nodded their heads saying, "In compliance with Elder Ye's teachings." The white-robed old man Yigu nodded his head in satisfaction and then prepared to carry the two juniors on their journey. From beginning to end he treated Lin Feng like empty air. Under the effect of the system, even Yigu who is at the foundation establishment level also did not see that Lin Feng is a cultivator. At this time Lin Feng went over on his own, looking at the three people slightly in fear. 3. These three masters, are you guys legendary sword celestials? His expression was a just perfect 70% admiration and worship and 30% fear and timidness. Murong Yenran slightly frowned, she did not speak. The white-robed youth's face revealed a haughty expression, lightly nodding his head. "What do you want?" Lin Feng's face revealed an expression of great joy, hurriedly saying, "In the village that I live in a demon has appeared. Please help us get rid of it, our entire village's people will all be extremely grateful, please save us." The white-robed revealed a dismissive expression. Deserted wild mountains have lots of legends of demons and spirits, it cannot be taken seriously. Lin Feng continued saying, "I saw it myself, the old peach tree that had originally been turned into charcoal by lightning suddenly grew out new branches and even blossomed beautiful peach blossoms." The white-robed youth waved his hands cutting him off. "Being rejuvenated during the spring isn't really a rare thing." Lin Feng repeatedly nodded his head. Right, you are correct, but those peach blossoms will kill people, they killed a lot of people." Murong Yenran and the white-robed youth looked at each other, finally becoming interested. "Tell me, how did the peach blossoms kill a lot of people?" Lin Feng hurriedly explained the course of how the peach blossoms flew down from the tree sticking on the foreheads of people and then how the flower petals flew back to the tree after sucking people dry. The white-robed youth's eyebrows lifted up high. Hearing what Lin Feng described, it does indeed seem like a peach tree becoming a demon and causing trouble. Being able to use flying flowers to kill people, this old peach tree has clearly already gained intelligence and grasped its own gifts and abilities. This kind of demon has usually already formed a demon core, having value to kill it. Muron Yenran's eyebrows wrinkled, looking towards the white-robed Elder Yi Gu. Elder Yi, let's just go, or else that tree demon could still kill even more people. Yi Gu stroked his long beard, and then consulted Lin Feng in detail about the general course of how the old peach tree killed people, patiently confirming every detail. With a simple and honest face, Lin Feng patiently answered each of Yi Ji's questions. He wasn't afraid of Yi Gu questioning because everything he said was true. It's just he left out a little tiny detail. Lin Feng did not tell them that for the old peach tree, killing a Qi disciple level 4 truth cultivator is also the same as killing an ant. Yi Gu specially repeatedly asked about certain problems. After confirming that there were no mistakes to Lin Feng's responses, he finally nodded his head. In the first place, destroying evil and protecting justice is the duty of we Celeritas Sword Sect's cultivators. Encountering this tree demon today causing trouble, we cannot leave it alone. Young man, lead the way. Lin Feng's face was rejoiceful, profusely thanking them. In his heart he silently laughed. Excellent. You three could not have come at a better time, just on time to help me go save my eldest disciple. As the adversaries of my future second disciple, if I don't screw you guys over, then who would I? Chapter 7. Celeritas vs Peach Blossom. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Yeah, my siblings came back from vacation yesterday, so yeah. Anyways, here's the chapter. Remember to leave a comment in the comments section below. Seriously, I need comments, the thirst is real. Lin Feng led Muron Yenran and the other two, arriving outside of Stone Village. The area of battle before had not been cleaned up yet, the ground was littered with dried corpses, and it was as terrifying as hell on earth. It's not just Muron Yenran who nearly dry heaved when seeing this miserable scene. Yi Gu and the white-robed youth also had a big frown on their faces and felt nauseous. The strong contrast of the charred withered tree trunk of the old peach tree at the village entrance matched with the charming peach blossoms entering the eyes made people feel a wave of uncomfortableness. In this living hell-like environment, the more exuberant the peach blossoms were, the more eerier they appeared. Lin Feng was just about to speak when a disturbance suddenly rose up in Stone Village. The swearing of adults and the crying of children mixed together. Everybody ran towards the outside of the village from different directions. All of them keeping away from the old peach tree at the village entrance. Lin Feng focused his eyes looking over, seeing that in the village, brilliant red peach blossom petals were flying in the air, chasing behind the villagers. People that the flower petals attached to immediately had their vital essence sucked clean, turning into dried corpses. Seeing in the crowd Xiao Budian, who was protecting other people and running away with everybody, Lin Feng let out a long sigh of relief, calling out lucky in his heart. Fortunately he encountered Muron Yenran and company, or else with the old peach tree striking out this quickly he really wouldn't have had any way to deal with the demon. Against the peach blossoms chasing outside of the village, with a loud yell Lin Feng held his head and ran away, seemingly receiving a great fright. Muron Yenran and the white-robed youth stared at the back of Lin Feng's figure that had already run far away, releasing a cold snort in unison. Coward! Lin Feng didn't know that his actions were in the middle of being looked down upon by people. Even if he knew, he also wouldn't care. Of course he has to run. If he lets Xiao Budian and the village elder see him like this, then how would he continue to act like a peerless master? On the other hand, Lin Feng also needs to leave the sights of the three people from the Celeritas Sword Sect as quick as possible to make preparations for himself striking out. Regardless of who wins and loses, Lin Feng will still make a move. If the old peach tree wins, Lin Feng naturally would not be happy. Right now it's not just the safety of Xiao Budian, he also has to ensure that if Muron Yenran and company lose, that they do not die and are able to escape alive. At least Muron Yenran, this little chick, absolutely cannot die. Or else who would go to the Xiao family to break off the marriage? But if Yi Gu and company win too easily, then for Lin Feng that is also definitely not a good thing. God knows if they will take an eye towards Xiao Budian's potential and take him into the Celeritas Sword Sect's door. Then Lin Feng will have lost everything. A lose-lose situation for both sides is the result that Lin Feng is most happy to see. And so, carefully finding a place and hiding himself, Lin Feng took out the Northern Aurora sword, closely paying attention to the battle. The white-robed youth had already pulled his sword out of the scabbard, engaging the old peach tree first. Only even though a level of Chi disciple level 10 is impressive and he cut down a couple of peach blossoms, it is far from being the old peach tree's opponent. When the white-robed youth's sword aura was about to cut the tree trunk, a change suddenly occurred to the old peach tree. The peach blossoms on the tree branches together released a pink-colored mist, connecting together and enveloping the old peach tree. When the white-robed youth's sword cut into the pink mist, it was immediately like being caught in quicksand, unable to move. Vile spawn thou dareth. The white-robed youth's expression changed, wanting to call back the flying sword but it was caught by the pink mist, no matter how hard he tried he could not take it back. Not only so, the red mist followed the white-robed youth's mana eroding over, counterattacking him. The white-robed youth's face was instantly flushed red, as if drunk from alcohol, only able to difficulty hold on. The situation drastically plummeted. Yi Gu and Murong Yenran were all greatly alarmed. Murong Yenran wanted to help out but was stopped by Yi Gu. There's something strange about this tree demon, don't interfere. Yi Gu extended his arm and released an invisible sword chi with a sweep of his arm, cutting off the connection between the white-robed youth and the old peach tree. Saving the white-robed youth, he handed him over to Murong Yenran. You guys stand down, I will face this demon. Finishing speaking, he pulled his sword out of the scabbard, stabbing forward and also releasing a golden-colored sword aura. Yi Ji's sword aura is a lot fiercer than the white-robed youth's. Like a fogbow streaking across the sky, the dazzling sword aura cut straight towards the old peach tree. TL. Fogbow, a phenomenon similar to a rainbow, produced by sunlight shining on fog. The old peach tree repeated the same trick, the red mist became increasingly thicker blocking Yi Ji's sword aura. Waves of ripples like water rose up on the red mist, the strength of Yi Ji's fierce attack was actually also averted by her. Eddie E.T. Lin Feng secretly said. Thank God. Taking head on the attack of Yi Gu, who is a Foundation Establishment rank cultivator, this old peach tree really also has Foundation Establishment rank strength. Good thing I wasn't rash before, or else even with the Northern Aurora sword, running over to solo the old peach tree would just be a futile attempt without return. Yi Gu gave a cold snort, the bright sword aura turned into a mist, suddenly expanding. The sword chi spread upward, forming a very imposing cloud pillar. The cloud pillar expanded to the extreme, the mist directly burst apart becoming a rain of sword chi like a swarm of locusts, hundreds of thousands of sword chi together shooting in all directions. The old peach tree was in no rush, the peach blossoms on the tree branches all floated down, forming a rain of flowers in the air and shooting towards Yi Gu. Unlike the seemingly weak and floaty appearance seen before, the flower petals this time were like sharp arrows, soaring through the clouds and splitting rocks. The rain of flowers all over the sky met in mid-air with the boundless sword chi, breaking out a striking collision. Flower petals split, sword chi vanished, the two sides mingled together, the world was turned into a haze. Lin Feng was hiding in cover and watching enraptured. This is the power of Foundation Establishment rank cultivators, they are indeed skilled. Lin Feng thought while watching, if he met a Foundation Establishment rank cultivator, how should he deal with the person? Naturally it would be best if he didn't have to fight, but if he had to attack then he has to first set up 9 Heavens Thunder summoning to ambush, and then immediately use the Northern Aurora sword to do a pincer attack while the person is dealing with being struck by lightning. Success is between these two moves. If even this kind of attack cannot defeat the opponent then he will immediately run away, running as fast as he can. Overall, under the premise of first plotting against the opponent and ambushing, it's not that he can't win, but his chances of winning are still pretty low. While Lin Feng was in the middle of his thoughts, the battle over there had already gradually intensified. Between the collision of the sword chi and the flower storm, it seemed like Yi Gu was the better. After the sword chi crushed over 100 peach blossoms, the remaining momentum did not stop, continuing to bombard towards the old peach tree. Concentrated sword chi like a storm landed on the old peach tree. The entire body of the old peach tree rippled with a layer of crimson-red demonic aura, gorgeous and brilliant, bearing the bombardment of the sword storm head-on. Like a rainstorm hitting water, wave after wave of ripples rose up on the red demonic aura. Maybe one beam of sword chi cannot break open the old peach tree's defense, but the attack this time is more than thousands of beams of sword chi. Being repeatedly attacked by such concentrated sword chi non-stop, the old peach tree really does have a sort of precarious feeling. Muron Yenran and the white-robed youth were all loudly cheering. The Stone Village villagers that had escaped far away also stopped their footsteps, paying attention to the battle. Seeing Yi Gu have the advantage, they also cheered together. Only Lin Feng's eyes were slightly focused, his heart tightening a bit. Something's wrong. Naturally he wouldn't be worried about the old peach tree, it's that he sensed that the old peach tree seemed to be holding back. Seeing the old peach tree only have the ability to withstand the attacks and not have the strength to retaliate, Yi Gu, who has a cautious nature, was also in high spirits. The sword sign of his hands changed, his body fusing with the sword and together flying upwards. The mist-like sword chi also instantly became a brilliant sword aura at this instant, human and sword as one, cutting straight down towards the old peach tree. This attack gave up on the formless, fluctuating characteristic of the mist and focused all of the strength into lethality and destructive power. Yi Ji's mana surged, forming a powerful sword aura dozens of meters long and as wide as a door with peerless might and an invincible aura. But right at this moment, a light laugh rang beside Lin Feng's ear. It was that low and hoarse female voice. Her laughing voice was filled with disdain and contempt. Lin Feng's eyes jolted wide open, seeing the bright red demon aura around the old peach tree suddenly condense into a ball of light only the size of a fist. The light orb looks unremarkable, but watching that light orb, Lin Feng felt even his soul slightly tremble. That is a strength compressed to the extreme, the destructive power has also reached the extreme. Lin Feng even saw that even the air around the light orb had already distorted, the space had a trend of collapsing towards the inside of the light orb. Yi Ji's expression dramatically changed. What a cunning demon! But he had already reached the end of his move, there was no more time to change. He could only brace himself and attack. Yi Ji's sword aura collided with the old peach tree's light orb, a dazzling light burst forth causing everyone to be unable to open their eyes. The instant that both sides made contact there was not much activity, but the next instant a deafening roar rose up. A massive shockwave expanded in all directions, the Stone Village villagers far away were like blades of straw being blown all over the place by the powerful wind. Against the shockwave, Lin Feng, who was very far away, also felt his chest tighten. The breath that he was originally about to exhale was actually suppressed, unable to breathe out. At the heart of the explosion, a human figure flew out, heavily falling onto the ground. It was exactly Yi Gu. The Yi Gu right now no longer had the sage-like appearance when they first met, the white robe on his body had already been dyed red with fresh blood. Muron Yenran and the white-robed youth were all aghast, hastily going up and helping up Yi Gu. Before they could even speak they were cut off by Yi Gu. The old man hurriedly yelled. Go quick. Before his voice has died away, the old peach tree's flowers fluttered in the wind, already preparing for a new round of attacks. The three people of the Celeritas sword sect did not dare to hesitate, supporting each other and running away in a fluster. Right now their minds no longer had any thought of slaying evil, their only thought was one word. Run. Yet at this moment Lin Feng summoned the Northern Aurora sword, its blade pointing straight at the old peach tree. Now is the time. Chapter 8. I've remembered you. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I'll say this beforehand since I don't really think it's a spoiler. As you'll see in this chapter, yes, the tree is a female, and if you were to base things off this chapter and with every novel you've read, you would assume they end up together. But, I am 1000 chapters in and there is almost zero indication of Lin Feng getting together with anybody. In fact, if it weren't for the fact that I've never seen a novel where the MC doesn't end up with somebody, I would tell you 100% that Lin Feng doesn't end up with anybody. Honestly, if he does end up with somebody, judging by the way things are going, it'll at least be a couple hundred more chapters. So yeah, you guys will have to wait like 10 years or something to see if that happens or not. The showdown between two Foundation establishment rank powerhouses came to a close with the old peach tree's victory. First appearing weak to the enemy and then after luring Yi Ge to advance rashly decisively using the strongest strength to engage, beating the complete crap out of this Foundation establishment ranked cultivator of the Celeritas sword sect. But the old peach tree herself also paid a relatively big price. That brilliant red protective demonic aura of hers had also vanished at this moment, only able to use the red mist and flower rain to organize a new offensive. Even like this she is still not what the injured Yi Ge and company can withstand. Yi Ge and company hurriedly escaped. Right at this time from a different direction, a powerful wave of mana fluctuations suddenly burst out, lightning and thunder surged making people breathless. Lin Feng's face was pale, drenched in sweat. Above his head the Northern Aurora sword floated in the air. The sword was covered with arcs of lightning, sparks continuously jumped, the crackling sound of electric currents roared. Lin Feng's hand formed spell signs, his mouth complaining. This thing consumes too much mana, but this is still far from enough. He felt his mana was practically about to be sucked dry by the Northern Aurora sword. Lin Feng didn't have a lot of chances. Taking advantage of while the old peach tree has been heavily exhausted by Yi Ge is the best opportunity to defeat the old peach tree. This is a golden opportunity. Suddenly, Lin Feng thought of something. Oh right, how did I forget about that thing? He hurriedly took out the Heaven Thunder Moon Jade, attempting to draw out thunder energy from within. With this he almost screwed up. The thunder essence in the Heaven Thunder Moon Jade is pure and so colossal, flowing into Lin Feng's body in an instant it almost turned him into charcoal. Lin Feng's entire body was covered by lightning, from top to bottom his body was coursing with dense blue and purple lightning aura. Don't mention sparks flying out from his entire body, even the hairs on his body had thunder energy that could not be held in blowing out. At the crucial moment, Lin Feng circulated his Nine Heavens Thunder technique to the extreme, his mind linking with the Northern Aurora sword above his head. The colossal thunder energy finally found an outlet, immediately charging into the Northern Aurora sword like a flood breaking through a dike. Lin Feng carefully controlled the flow of the mana and spirit energy in his body, making himself become the bridge of communication between the Heaven Thunder Moon Jade and Northern Aurora sword. With the massive power supply of the Heaven Thunder Moon Jade the Northern Aurora sword instantly became powerful, the lightning aura on the sword became increasingly condensed, in the end becoming a pure white, even the Northern Aurora sword itself turned into a lightsaber. At the tip of the lightsaber, lightning aura converged into a lightning ball. The size became increasingly bigger, revealing a power of mass destruction. Compared to the lightning that Lin Feng summoned before using the Nine Heaven Thunder summoning it was also even stronger. The scariness of this lightning ball could already rival the light orb that the old peach tree created. The commotion over at Lin Feng's side had already alarmed the people in the battle, both sides stopped fighting in uncertainty. Even though they couldn't see Lin Feng, they were all paying attention to the movement over at Lin Feng's side. But before they could react, Lin Feng had already let loose. An incredibly overbearing and powerful beam of dazzling lightning burst across the sky, striking towards the burnt old peach tree. Northern Aurora Mystic Light. The flowers of the old peach tree all violently shook, boundless red mist and an endless flower storm went to engage the Northern Aurora Mystic Light. The lightning along with the red mist and flower storm met in mid-air, time seemed to stop at this instant, becoming infinitely slow. It was clearly just an instant, yet it was like a century had passed. Every person looking discovered that they could clearly see the flower rain and red mist bit by bit fragment, becoming specks of dust and then being swallowed by the lightning. The enchanting flowers, inch by inch, foot by foot, all disintegrated like dust. Lastly, the old peach tree itself, that is 8-9 meters tall with a diameter of a whole dozen meters, was also covered in cracks like fractured porcelain. Breaking, disintegrating, constantly fracturing, breaking again. Countless pieces of wood charcoal fell onto the ground. This incredibly massive old peach tree was directly obliterated by this northern aurora mystic light of Lin Feng's. Too bad for it that it had already been struck by lightning before and is now suffering a lightning calamity again. It is unable to hold on anymore. Lin Feng saw the result of his one sword blow, letting out a long sigh of relief. His mind felt a wave of weakness. He does not have the ability to do it again. A sea of thunder energy was poured into the northern aurora sword through his body, causing his body to also bear a huge burden, especially his heart, which was suffering from waves of numbness. But he quickly pulled himself together because he faintly saw that after the old peach tree was destroyed there was a wild light that flashed by. Even though it was just a split second, Lin Feng's expression still greatly changed. That is a bare-footed woman with snow-white clothes. Her beauty is one that Lin Feng has never seen in his life before. Muron Yanran could already be considered incredibly beautiful, but in front of this woman she was still a step below. The beauty of this woman was in that her entire body did not have any imperfections. Her beauty was breathtaking, her beauty was intoxicating. Her beauty was inhuman. But Lin Feng's heart did not have the fiery feeling of seeing a beautiful woman like before. He only felt a bone-chilling coldness, his back drenched in cold sweat. The white-clothed woman had her hair loose, her entire body did not have any accessories, but she naturally revealed a tempting beauty. Lin Feng felt her look over towards him. That low and hoarse female voice once again sounded beside his ears. "My name is Long Yi, please remember it, because T.L. Long Yi, hazy night." Different from her elegant and enchanting appearance, her voice is extremely deep, yet it formed a sort of special allure, attracting people to willingly indulge in it. But Lin Feng's mind did not have any romantic or amorous thoughts, because the other half of this woman's sentence is like this. "Because, I've remembered you." Finishing speaking one sentence, with a flash the white figure had already disappeared, only leaving behind the remains of the wrecked old peach tree all over the ground. Lin Feng brushed his nose. If it was possible he really wanted to say, "Big sis, please don't have good memory." Being remembered by a hot chick is a good thing, but that definitely doesn't include Long Yi. At this time, the other people were also like they had woken up from a dream. The villagers of Stone Village were all cheering in joy when Yi Ge had the advantage, who knew that the situation would take a sudden turn for the worst and that the three people of the Celeritas sword sect would be defeated and flee. Right when people were in a panic, a sudden bolt of lightning from the sky directly killed the tree demon. The ups and downs of life are honestly too quick. When the villagers returned to their senses, a lot of people cried from joy. One by one they kowtowed in the direct that the lightning was released. Yi Ge and company, who had escaped for a while, were also dumbstruck at this moment. The white-robed youth said angrily, "Isn't this guy a bit too good at picking up opportunities? Only attacking while taking advantage of after Elder Yi and that tree demon took each other down." Yi Ge shook his head. "Seeing the power of that lightning, that person's strength is only above mine and not below." Muron Yanran said hesitantly, "Should we go back and take a look?" While speaking, a hostile aura suddenly came over from the direction of the lightning. Powerful mana fluctuations once again sprang up. Yi Ge and company all had an unhappy look. The white-robed youth said furiously, "Actually daring to provoke us, the Celeritas sword sect?" Muron Yanran glared at him. "Elder Yi is currently hurt, we can only let him be cocky." "Forget it, let's go. In any case the tree demon has been eliminated." Yi Ge sighed, looking towards Muron Yanran. "It's just that we'll need to delay a period of your time. I can only accompany you to the Wuzhou province Xiao family after I've recovered." Muron Yanran hurriedly said, "Of course it's Elder's injury that is more important." Scaring off Muron Yanran and company, Lin Feng let out a breath of relief. He looked towards Xiao Budian in the crowd far off, his heart instantly becoming fervent. Busying about for half a day, it's finally about to reach harvest time. As for the future trouble brought by Long Yi, Lin Feng could only first put it in the back of his mind. Right now all of his thoughts are about how he is finally about to have his first disciple. Hurriedly changing into the Taoist clothes and reverting back to that sage-like master appearance, Lin Feng snuck back to the elder's house, finding a most comfortable position and then sitting in the elder's house yard, quietly waiting for Xiao Budian and them to return. After a moment, a group of people followed the elder and Xiao Budian walking into the yard. Originally they were going to discuss the matters of taking care of the aftermath. Who knew that just entering the door he saw Lin Feng carefree and content, sitting cross-legged, a magic sword placed horizontally across his knees. The lightning arcs that occasionally jumped on the magic sword instantly flashed them blind. Xiao Budian was the first to react. Dao Zhang, it was you that got rid of that old peach tree. TL. Dao Zhang, a way to refer to Taoist priests. I just left it out before or changed it to you, but I've just decided to leave it as Dao Zhang from now on. Lin Feng lightly smiled but did not speak. Thinking of that talisman he gave to Xiao Budian before that summoned lightning and then seeing the Northern Aurora sword on Lin Feng's knees, thinking of that miraculous lightning strike that destroyed the old peach tree, the Stone Village villagers immediately started cheering. Everybody looked at Lin Feng in reverence, all of them kneeling down and thanking Lin Feng for saving them. Even with the thickness of Lin Feng's skin he still felt embarrassed, but he still had to continue acting like a master, so he could only force himself to hold on. The old elder also walked over at this time thanking Lin Feng. After thanking him he seemed to have something to say, his gaze hesitantly shifting between Lin Feng and Xiao Budian. Lin Feng's appearance was indifferent, but the corners of his eyes were looking at Xiao Budian the entire time, his inner heart calling out affectionately. Xiao Budian, you little guy, hurry up and come into Master's bowl. TL. Come into his bowl, become his, you get it. Chapter 9. Hurry up and come into Master's bowl. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Special thanks to someone that donated. I can't say the name, so he'll be called Mr. T. Ding. Mr. T has now entered the White Chocolate Macadamia Nut Cookie Hall of Fame. Yeah, that doesn't exist. The old elder's gaze hesitantly shifted between Lin Feng and Xiao Budian. Xiao Budian, you little guy, hurry up and come in Master's bowl. Lin Feng loudly cried in his heart, but on the appearance he still indifferently looked at Xiao Budian, calmly asking. The talisman Master left with you, you used it. Xiao Budian scratched his head in embarrassment, his face slightly red. I used it, I also looked for it later but I couldn't find it. Lin Feng coolly laughed. No harm, it was originally left for you to protect yourself. Master also sensed the change in the talisman, which is why I returned again. Xiao Budian smiled, saying. Thank you Dao Zhang for getting rid of the old peach tree and saving everybody. Lin Feng lightly smiled, taking out another talisman and handing it to Xiao Budian. Keep it safe and be careful in the future. Master still has things to do, so we'll split here. We'll meet again if fate wills it. The exchanged thunder crystals have already been exhausted, just this talisman alone cannot activate the 9 heaven thunder summoning, but this didn't stop Lin Feng from pretending. Finishing speaking, Lin Feng straightened his body and got up. He put away the Northern Aurora sword and headed towards the door. Xiao Budian nodded his head innocently, but the old elder stared blankly on the spot. He thought Lin Feng would revisit the issue and take in Xiao Budian as his disciple. The old man wants Lin Feng to take Xiao Budian as his disciple, but is also afraid of Xiao Budian's background being leaked and is in the middle of wrestling with himself, who knew Lin Feng is actually directly leaving. Lin Feng's face was flat, walking towards the outside of the yard. The surrounding Stone Village villagers all made way for him with faces of reverence and gratitude. 1, 2, 3. Lin Feng walked while silently counting in his heart. Of course he couldn't just walk away like this, or else what has he been working all day for? It's just that you've gotta go all the way when acting, since he's playing the part of a sage. Like master, then he needs to have the airs of a sage. Like master. Oftentimes people will not value things that are obtained too easily. Between masters and disciples it is also like so. If I am too aggressive, then the old elder and Xiao Budian would instead have doubts. If I am not that enthusiastic, then they will actively come over. Sure enough, when Lin Feng counted to 10 in his heart, from behind him came the elder's voice. Xianzhang, please wait. TL. Xianzhang, a more venerable way of referring to Taoist priests when people think they're special, magical, godly. Excellent. Lin Feng laughed in his heart, the expression on his face not changing. He turned around but didn't speak, just calmly looking at the old elder. It's clear that the old man made up his mind. He held Xiao Budian's hand, walking over, humbly but solemnly saying. This child has had many hardships since he was born, being able to gain Xianzhang's favor is his good fortune. May Xianzhang have mercy and take in this child. Lin Feng knew he had to display his magnanimity at this time, and so he didn't create any difficulties, only calmly saying. It's not favoring in taking mercy, being able to continue our master-disciple relationship from last life. I am also very happy. But whether or not he is willing to return as my disciple still requires this child to make up his own mind. After the old elder thought for a bit, he said towards the surrounding people. Go home guys, in the past few days a chain of major events has happened, everyone's family is a mess, why don't you all go home first? Even though the villagers found it odd, but since the elder has spoken they all left one by one. Before leaving they profusely thanked Lin Feng again. After a moment, only Lin Feng, the old elder and Xiao Budian remained in the yard. The old elder bowed saying. I still have some secrets, if Xianzhang allows it please enter into the house to speak. Lin Feng nodded his head not minding. The three people went into the stone house together and sat down. The old elder looked at Xiao Budian affectionately. Xiao Budian, are you willing to take this Xianzhang as your master? Xiao Budian's dark eyes lit up like they were glowing, looking at Lin Feng. Can I learn great skills like Xianzhang? Lin Feng lightly smiled. There's even greater ones. Xiao Budian repeatedly nodded his head, a face of anticipation. Ah, I'm willing, I'm willing. Lin Feng put away his smile, slowly saying. Although, if you want to be my disciple you'll have to leave the village with master, master will not stay here long. Hearing this Xiao Budian immediately started hesitating, anxiously looking at Lin Feng and then looking towards the old elder. The old elder gave a dry cough, saying with a serious face. Xiao Budian, aren't you always asking me where your father and mother went? Xiao Budian blinked his eyes, saying. I have a slight impression in my mind but I'm always unable to remember it. Grandpa, you're finally willing to tell me. The elder nodded his head and then looked towards Lin Feng. Allow me to tell Xianzhang, this child. His background is very special, it might bring you trouble in the future. He comes from the royal family of the Great Qin dynasty and is also related to the Yu family of the Great Qin dynasty. Lin Feng's heart slightly jumped. The dynasties of this heaven primal world are different from the dynasties of Earth's history. The ones that can be crowned as kings to rule a country are all powerful truth cultivators. The so-called royal family of a dynasty, it's better to call them extremely powerful cultivator families, enough to compete with great sections. Lin Feng knows this is the last test of the old man, but he will absolutely not give up on Xiao Budian, this disciple. Are you joking? In front of Xiao Budian, this kind of MC level character, who cares if you're a 10,000-year sect or a 1,000-year dynasty, they're all just backgrounds and stepping stones. The path may be bumpy, but the future is destined to be bright. Not to mention, if you take a step back, the ultimate goal of Lin Feng's super founder system is to establish history's #1 sect. To complete this task he'll naturally have to collide with the current forces of the world. Lin Feng's eyes became a bit serious, the corners of his lips drawing up a light smile but not speaking. The change in his expression already clearly told the old elder, he knows the weight of the opponent but is still confident and not afraid. Sure enough, the old elder let out a breath of relief, saying with a smile. It's I that was not knowledgeable, do not be offended Xianzhang. Speaking he let out a sigh, looking towards Xiao Budian. This child's origin is incredibly precious, but he has had many hardships. Xiao Budian naturally has a name, his true name is Shi Tianhao, born in the line of the great Qin dynasty's royal family. Even though he is not part of the main branch, he is still of nobility. Shi Tianhao's grandfather and father are all great cultivators with very high levels. Shi Tianhao is especially extraordinary, a natural-born foundation establishment rank. Just being born he'd already crossed a threshold that the myriad of living beings might not be able to pass even if they try for their entire lives. Mundane martial artists being able to guide Qi into their bodies are Qi disciple cultivators. Qi disciple cultivators advance to foundation establishment rank cultivators when they forge their Dao root. There is also a distinction between Dao roots. The rank of the practiced Dao technique and the cultivator's own talent will also affect the Dao root's grade. Usually they are classified as mortal class, spirit class, earth class and heaven class, these four ranks. The quality of one's Dao root not only causes a difference in strength of same level cultivators, but also determines the future prospect of one's cultivation path. And Shi Tianhao, this little guy, was not only born with a Dao root, his Dao root was also the incredibly rare sovereign Dao root that is above heaven class Dao roots. While listening, the expression on Lin Feng's face didn't change, but he was actually bursting with joy in secret, constantly muttering in his heart. A bone root of 10, a bone root of 10. Listening to hear Lin Feng was also a bit confused. With such amazing talent, Xiao Budian should be treated like a treasure no matter where you put him. Afraid to drop him while holding him and afraid that he'll melt in the mouth, how come he suffered disaster? The old elder's following explanation solved Lin Feng's question. It turns out that even though Xiao Budian had a natural-born Dao root, it was not exhibited at the first moment. But when his parents discovered it, it was just when his grandfather had gone missing in a dangerous place. Xiao Budian's parents were anxious to look for and save his grandfather, so they were forced to place Xiao Budian, who was not even half-year-old, in a different family. With this a problem occurred. This family also had a little prodigy. His name was Shi Tianyi and he was a few years older than Xiao Budian. He was born with two pupils in each eye and saw through Xiao Budian possessing a sovereign Dao root. TL. In Chinese ancient legends, those with two pupils are usually saints, in this case having special powers. In the end, Shi Tianyi's mother plotted against Xiao Budian, finding a person to use a spell and robbing Xiao Budian's sovereign Dao root, transplanting it onto her son Shi Tianyi. When Xiao Budian's parents returned, everything was already too late. The sovereign Dao root had already completely fused with Shi Tianyi. To take it back they would need to kill Shi Tianyi. This is something that the imperial family, the Shi family, could not accept. As a result, Xiao Budian's parents created a big uproar, fighting their way out of Great Qin's imperial capital. In the end, to save Xiao Budian, who was dying, they were forced to go to a dangerous place to look for medicine. When the old elder was young, he once adventured in the outer world and learned some basic Dao techniques. He also befriended Xiao Budian's father. Even though today the level between the two people is already the difference between the sky and the earth, their friendship still exists. Thus Xiao Budian was temporarily placed at the old elder's house. Only they haven't heard a word from Xiao Budian's parents for 3 years since they went out to look for medicine. The old elder let out a sigh. Before the old tree demon caused trouble, there were already Yu family's people that found this place. The Yu family is the family of Shi Tianyi's maternal grandfather. Who knew that they are actually so cruel, not stopping after robbing Xiao Budian's sovereign Dao root and actually also wanting to finish him off. The Yu family is ranked as the Great Qin dynasty's 4 great clans and is also a powerful cultivator family. Strong people appear in the clan every generation. The 2 people that arrived in this mountain this time were just the lowest grade servants. Finishing speaking, the old elder fell into silence, anxiously looking at Lin Feng. Lin Feng in turn was observing Xiao Budian. In the process of the old elder's explanation, Xiao Budian was first shocked, but then after a moment his entire body shook. His gaze was filled with confusion, in the end it was filled with sadness, tears flowed down without stop. "Grandpa, I remember now, I remember." Xiao Budian's face was filled with tears. He was born with a Dao root and developed his intelligence far earlier than normal children. He knew everything about his bitter childhood experience, but exactly because it was too miserable, so a lot of things were actually purposely forgotten by him. The old elder repeatedly sighed. Lin Feng himself was calmly staring at Xiao Budian, asking, "You remember the matters from before, what do you think right now?" "I am very pained, father, mother, where are you guys now?" Xiao Budian continuously shed tears. Lin Feng nodded his head. "A kind child." Following, he opened his mouth saying, "You have lost your sovereign Dao root, don't you hate that clan brother called Shirtiani? He himself was already born with dual pupils and has also obtained your sovereign Dao root, now even other prodigies probably also have difficulty approaching his greatness." Xiao Budian gradually calmed down, wiping his tears and saying, "Isn't it just a Dao root? A sovereign is not appointed, it is carved by one's own footstep step by step. I will wait for him at Primordial Soul." TL. Primordial Soul is a rank. Lin Feng smiled. Xiao Budian was struck by a thought, getting down on his knees. "Please take me in, master, and teach me Dao techniques." At this moment the system notification sound rang in his mind, like the voice of a goddess to Lin Feng. "Congratulations on host taking in your first disciple Shirtianhao. Host has obtained reward of 1 lottery chance and 500 trading points." Chapter 10. The second lottery chance. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Need help? Dying. Too many. Instant noodles. So good. Fighting the Yu family's cultivators, screwing over Murong Yenran and company, the fierce battle with the old peach tree. Working hard for so long, Lin Feng finally reached harvest time. Looking at Xiao Budian who was following behind him, Lin Feng's mood was unprecedentedly happy. Bidding farewell to the people of Stone Village and inquiring about the path towards Wuzhou City, Lin Feng brought Xiao Budian and hit the road. At Wuzhou there is still a Xiao Yan who is suspected to be a main character waiting for him. From Stone Village to Wuzhou one must go through the vast mountains and traverse the primitive jungles in the mountains. The primitive jungles are definitely not the forests in human society, only people that have come before can understand this point. Giant trees that shroud the sky and cover the sun, every year they create an astronomical number of fallen leaves. And in this damp and humid area the defoliation cannot turn into dry soil but will instead go through a very long decaying process, becoming a flat marsh together with the moist soil and turning into the scariest traps in the jungle. And the bugs in the jungle are many times bigger than the regular ones seen outside. Swarms of hovering mosquitoes are practically like flocks and flocks of birds. The tree trunks on the side are covered with some old green tree vines, discreetly intertwined, layer after layer, circle after circle. But one time when Lin Feng walked past, a dark green snake hiding in the tree vines suddenly sprang out. Lin Feng had to admit, having him trek in this primitive jungle alone is a very dangerous matter. But now with Xiao Budian everything is different. Despite him being not even 4 years old, Xiao Budian who has grown up in these mountains is already a veteran of jungle life. With him leading in front, Lin Feng even had the time to check out his own super founder system while walking. After Xiao Budian became his disciple, a new disciple system branch appeared in the system. Right now in the disciple system's name list there's still only just Xiao Budian. Name: Shi Tianhao. Age: 3 years 07 months. Current level: Qi Disciple Level 2. Potential attributes: Bone Root 10, Comprehension 8, Will 8, Luck 8. Note: a very strong body, far superior to regular Qi Disciple Level 2 Truth Cultivators. Recommended teaching plan. Recommended to practice Thunder Class Dao techniques. In terms of abilities, he can train in both spells and martial arts. Lin Feng nodded his head in satisfaction. He can just perfectly pass on to Xiao Budian the Nine Heavens Thunder technique. He entered into the lottery system again. When he took in Xiao Budian as his disciple, the system rewarded him with a lottery chance. The dice system and the wheel system. Lin Feng looked at all of the randomly chosen lottery prizes and was slightly disappointed. There was nothing particularly good. He could only place his hopes on the mystery chest. After the Northern Aurora sword last time, Lin Feng already knows that this mystery chest is actually equivalent to a special big prize and can usually give a good item. This time Lin Feng chose the wheel system. In the void, 18 grids formed a round circle. 15 items were placed within plus a mystery chest with a question mark. There also remains 2 empty spaces. Chest, chest, chest. Start. With a thought, a dot of light appeared in the wheel and started rapidly spinning around the wheel. Approximately after 2 rounds, the dot of light speed slowed down. Lin Feng closely stared at the light spot, calculating where it will stop in his heart. The further the dot of light went, the slower it became. It was also increasingly closer to the mystery chest. The 3 things are respectively the spell Flame Saber, the evil suppression talisman, and the mystery chest. Flame Saber is a higher level spell compared to Fireball and Palm Thunder, these kinds of common spells. For Lin Feng, who is currently at Chi Disciple rank, it is just perfect for use. Spells that are too high grade have high demands and are instead not so easy to use. The Evil Suppression Talisman is a type of very versatile talisman. It specially destroys demons and spirits. Even though it's just a one-time use item, if it's used properly it is even more useful than Flame Saber. These 2 items are both in the trading system. They both require a couple hundred trading points. But their appeal evidently still cannot compete with the mystery chest. The light that arrived at Flame Saber, seemingly wanting to stop. Lin Feng held his breath, not daring to release any sounds, but he was constantly yelling in his heart. Past, past, past. As if hearing Lin Feng's thoughts, the dot of light slowly moved past Flame Saber, arriving at the grid of the Evil Suppression Talisman. Past again, past again, past again. The dot of light did not disappoint, once more moving past the Evil Suppression Talisman as Lin Feng wished. Lin Feng was delighted in his heart. My luck is pretty good, a total of 2 lotteries and I got the special prize each time. Could it be that my luck is also very high? Lin Feng delightfully thought in his heart, the corners of his eyes glancing towards the wheel and almost being scared to death. The light that was actually still moving and was about to move past the mystery chest. Lin Feng was immediately anxious. Stop. 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 Fuck. The dot of light finally shakily stopped, but it had already passed by the mystery chest, landing on the grid after it. Lin Feng looked over, becoming dazed. Spirit Calming Grass. Has the effect of calming and stabilizing one's soul and is the main material of the soul anchoring pill. Their numbers are very few and are hard to find. Lin Feng frowned, his gaze freezing on the Spirit Calming Grass that had already fallen into his hands. Just now he sensed a thought flash across his mind, this Spirit Calming Grass seems to have a great use towards him. But this thought was very hazy. Lin Feng hastily entered the trading system and found the Soul Anchoring Pill, looking at the description. Soul Anchoring Pill is useless to regular people but can allow spirits and ghosts that have lost their physical body to stabilize their spirit bodies. They can travel long distances during the day, wander for 10,000 miles and not damage or break their souls. Lin Feng pondered for a moment, gradually having an idea, but it was still not clear enough. He still needs to plan things out for a long time, and so he put away the Spirit Calming Grass, continuing to look through the trading system. Taking in Xiao Budian as his disciple this time, besides the lottery chance, he was also rewarded 500 trading point, even more than the initial capital the novice gift provided him. Lin Feng prepared to trade for a spell or an ability. For techniques he already has the Nine Heavens Thunder technique, for magic items he has the Northern Aurora sword, so he isn't in a urgent need of both. On the contrary, in terms of spells, even though the power of Nine Heaven Thunder summoning is extraordinary, it has too many restrictions and has many inconveniences when in actual combat. Ultimately, Nine Heaven Thunder summoning is actually a formation technique. The user plants the spell formation in advance and then draws on the power of the world with the aid of the formation. But everything has its advantages and disadvantages. The power of formations is great, but planting the formation is not easy. Not talking about how spell formations are dead and cannot be moved, just setting up the spell formation requires many materials and time. When encountering sudden situations, it is very easy to be taken by surprise. So this time Lin Feng decided to trade for a spell or ability. He has his eyes on a spell called Cloud Dragon Escape. Escape techniques are very important towards cultivators. If one is skillful in escape techniques, they can run away if they are no match for the opponent and chase after the opponent if they can beat the opponent and they escape. Cloud Dragon Escape is actually a branch of a great escape technique. This great ability is called Dragon Escape, which includes Cloud Dragon Escape, Shadow Dragon Escape, Water Dragon Escape and many other escape techniques with different uses. Only the amount of trading points to trade for the entire Dragon Escape is too much. It is entirely not what Lin Feng can afford at the moment. He could only take a step back. After seriously thinking and screening, he chose Cloud Dragon Escape, this branch. The escape technique of the Cloud Dragon Escape technique is mainly used in short distance movement and dodging in small areas. The practitioner's feet move like a snake and dragon, like riding on a cloud, making the opponent unable to touch the corner of your clothes. It has a very great value in practical combat. His consciousness backed out of the system and discovered that Xiao Budian was staring at him in anticipation. "Master, when can I learn Dao techniques with you?" Lin Feng lightly smiled, patting his head. "Relax, you are Master's senior disciple, how could Master forget about you?" Xiao Budian's big black eyes turned. "Master, I don't want to be the senior disciple. I want to be the youngest disciple." Lin Feng was a bit confused, looking at Xiao Budian in front of him, who was like a porcelain doll with rosy red lips and pretty white teeth. "Don't worry, even though you are still young, you have entered the sect the longest, there is no problem in you being the eldest disciple. In the future, when Master takes in disciples, they'll all have to quietly be your juniors." Xiao Budian grabbed Lin Feng's hand and shook it. "But Master, I really want to be the youngest disciple," Lin Feng said in wonder. "Why?" The tips of Xiao Budian's feet grinded the ground, lowering his head in embarrassment. In the village it was like this, whoever's family has multiple children, usually it's always the youngest one that people dote on more. In the village I was the youngest child, so everybody adored me the most. Lin Feng looked dumbfounded at Xiao Budian in front of him, who was filled with mischief. After a long while Lin Feng said half angrily half laughingly. "You little imp, I don't know if I should call you smart or foolish. That's in your stone village, not every place is the same. On the contrary, in some places the younger one is the more they are bullied." Lin Feng looked at Xiao Budian with a faint smile. "Have you thought clearly? If you want to always be the smallest, then there's also no problem with that. Don't regret it in the future when those seniors of yours tell you to go get washing water and scrub the toilet." Xiao Budian's eyes turned, holding on to Lin Feng's hand and shaking it while grinning. He said smilingly, "I'll get washing water, scrub the toilet and massage the shoulders for Master. With Master around and Xiao Budian being so good, surely my seniors won't trouble me." Lin Feng looked at the little imp in front of his eyes, silently for a short while. In the end he let out a laugh, poking Xiao Budian's forehead. "Oh you." Xiao Budian revealed an innocent smile, laughing with a smile.